That always catches me out when it ends like that because I'm busy like doing stuff on the old phone but anyway, you will see everyone in the chat. We've got some people in the chat that I am joined by Mr. Manley from the Dark Mirror Show. So he's stepping in for Dan tonight, who's still not well. So we wish Dan get well soon. Wishes we miss you.
Get well soon, you big hairy bugger.
Yes. And I think Erik might join us a little bit later on for a little bit of a chat. So, but tonight, guys, we're going to be reading some stories, some ghost stories to you. Now, they're not just any ghost stories. These are ghost stories I have written myself. And they're sort of based on true stories, and I've twisted them around and jumbled them all up. So unless you know me really well, you won't really know where I'm pulling these stories from. So
I think I know what this one's from. I think I do. Is it anything to do with a mongoose?
No.
Right.
No. So, do you want to read the first one, or shall I read the first one? Because mine's only a short one.
It's up to you. We can read. I'll tell you what. You read your one because I know you don't like reading them out. That's why I'm helping you out. You read yours and get yours done and over and done with and out of the way. All right.
Okay. So, guys, can I in the chat welcome everybody? Hi, Sarah and William. If you can help me and share this out, I'd be very, very grateful. I get a little bit embarrassed reading my stories, and half the time I can't read my own handwriting. So,
really,
yeah, it's terrible. And I've got the wrong glasses on.
So if I trip up and go over things and go bollocks and then go back to it, please ignore it. It's just because I'm reading it from pictures.
Yeah. And I've got the wrong glasses on, so I don't look up and engage with you guys. Please forgive me. It's because I can't see.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Rachel.
Hey, darling.
So the story I've picked for you, for me to read for you guys, is called A Birthday Wish. Okay. So if you're all sitting comfortably, I will start. Bedfont Children's Home was always a busy place. They always seemed full and never empty. It always seemed full and never empty, it should say. It was here that Jessica found herself being placed at just 6 years old. Normally, the children here do not get put into foster. Normally, the children here do not get put into foster care or placed anywhere else. They remain there until they can move out into the big wide world and make their own way, with the help of the staff, of course. There were 10 staff and 5 helpers who usually worked the kitchen, but all the staff were lovely and happy to help anyone, children or the visitors, or for visitors from the social services when they decided to drop in. Today was Jessica's birthday. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Jess, happy birthday to you. Everyone was in the dining room and the cook had made Jessica a cake with 11 candles on. Go on, Jess, blow the candles out and make a wish, little Sam said. He was also in care and only 7 years old, but he was so happy for Jessica that Jessica looked into the flames of the pink candles. A tear fell from her eye, and the same thing happened every year. She mustered up all her inner strength and blew out the candles. Did you make your wish? What was it? Little Sam asked. I can't tell you, or it won't come true now, will it? Jessica said, a little annoyed with Sam for asking. But then he wasn't to know. Every year, the same wish. Every year, on the night of her birthday, her wish came true. But with every passing year, it grew fainter and fainter. Andrew and Diane were in the car with their daughter, Jessica, only 5.5 years old, travelling back home from a week's holiday visiting Cornwall when it happened. Andrew, aged 38, was a very experienced driver and used to race as a hobby for a team at a famous racetrack in Kent known as Brands Hatch. Diane, who was 35, didn't drive, but she made sure Andrew was not tired, and they had plenty of rest stops along the 4-hour drive back home to Chiswick, where they lived. Come on, we all know this song. Let's all sing Angels by Robbie Williams. Had just started, and all three started to sing to the radio, even Andrew. He must have been in an extra good mood as he never sang, and that's when it happened. Andrew was in the left lane of a 3-lane motorway, not speeding, keeping to the speed limit, and very aware of the other traffic around. It wasn't very busy. Rush hour just ended. The family had planned a slow journey home after rush hour, so they had all day with a few interesting stops along the way. What the hell does he think he's doing? The madman is going to kill someone. Andrew yelled as he saw a yellow Ford Focus weave in and out of the lanes behind him in the rearview mirror. He's clearly speeding. Just stay where we are and hopefully he'll pass by, Diane tried to assure Andrew. It took a split second and the yellow Ford Focus hit the central reservation and flipped over, doing a somersault and hitting the car in the middle lane, before flipping over again and landing on top of Andrew's car. All the cars tried to come to a standstill. Some had no option. The closest smashed into the two cars. Andrew's car already had the Focus embedded in its roof, and the sound of crashing and screeching could be heard for miles. A further 20 cars ploughed into each other before the motorway would come to a stop. Sadly, 6 people lost their lives that day. Andrew and Diane, the driver of the Ford Focus, the driver of the car in the middle lane, and the driver and his son who plunged into the back of Andrew's car. All died immediately. The emergency services arrived at the scene very quickly and found Jessica to be unconscious but still alive. She was rushed to hospital, still clutching her bag puss Teddy that Andrew had bought his daughter while on holiday. There was no family to contact, no one to look after Jessica, so social services were called to the hospital for Jessica's care. She eventually was placed into foster care, and when that didn't work, they found Jessica at place at Bedfont Children's Home, where she remained. The day of the accident was Jessica's birthday. It was bedtime at the home, and the children had managed to brush their teeth, and were just settling down in their rooms. Jessica shared a room with Zoe, who was a year older than Jessica. Zoe acted older. She saw it her duty to help all the younger kids. Sometimes it was welcomed and sometimes it was not. But Jessica really liked her and they got on so well. They would share makeup and body sprays and do each other's hair at the dressing table in their room. Jessica lay there in her bed pretending to be asleep while she waited for Zoe to do that deep breath thing. Once she did that, she fell asleep. It didn't take long, and Jessica climbed out of her single bed and tiptoed across the room to Zoe's bed to check that she was actually asleep. Next, she positioned herself on the little stool at the dressing table. Jess reached down to the bottom drawer and pulled out 2 jars that had candles in them. The Erik candles that had the fragrance of pine, and the other a floral bouquet fragrance. Jessica placed them either side of the mirror, then reached back to the drawer for the matches. Candles lit, Jessica then stared into the mirror. She looked deep into the mirror and slowed down her breathing. Jess looked over her shoulder and into the reflection of the darkness of the room. Just faintly, Jessica could make out the outlines of 2 figures beginning to form. The forms take shape, normally very quickly. And there, as though they were in the flesh, Mum and Dad standing there and smiling. "We are so proud of you," Diane would say. "Mum, Dad, there you are. I was afraid you wouldn't show. We will always be there for you, my love, for as long as you need us," Andrew replied. I still have him. See, Bagpuss there, Dad. I do. And when you hold him tight, know that we are not too far away. Andrew beamed with love and pride for his little girl now growing up. Who are you talking to? Zoe had heard Jessica talking to her parents and was now standing behind Jessica looking into the mirror. Before Jessica could answer, "Oh my God," came from Zoe's lips. She had caught the sight of the two figures standing on the other side with their reflections smiling. "Don't be afraid. Don't scare them off," Jessica pleaded with Zoe. "We have to go, Jess, but we'll be back next year. We love you and will always be with you, watching over you." Diane started to fade first, followed by Andrew, waving as they disappeared. "Look what you did. You scared them away," Jessica started to cry. Every year, when Jessica blew out her birthday candles, she wished that she could see her parents, and every year on the evening of her birthday, she would see just that. Now, they say be careful what you wish for, but don't you think this is just beautiful? I do. That was the birthday wish.
That was a good one. There you go.
What do you think of that, guys? I'll put my glasses back on this and read some of the comments.
I'm the same because I've got to read these and I'm going to be like, yeah.
I have to bring the screen a bit closer. Got wrong glasses on. Oh.
Got to go this. You'll have to bear with me because, as I say, these are all from pictures that Viv sent me. So you'll have to bear with me with this. So, yes, discuss the birthday wish.
Discuss. Scrying
I
at its best, but a child doing it.
I liked it. I'd love to see my dad on my birthday. Just even in a few seconds. I'd love to, you know.
Guys, just remember that this is what I've handwritten, and these are the first drafts that I'm reading to you. So,
yeah, exactly. Everybody likes it.
That's good. We'll do the comments in a minute. We got one more story coming up. Go on, Mark. You go for it.
Long one, wouldn't I? All right.
Yeah, you have the long one.
Pity it's not like that in real life, isn't it? Right. Okay.
I'm not saying
the witch's cat. Witch's cat, which is, funnily enough, Viv has a black cat. I have two black cats and a black and white cat. Which one of them is the witch's cat? Which one is which? Right, the witch's cat. Dorothy was 76 years of age and lived alone in her bungalow in Hounslow. Her husband, Bernie, weekend at Bernie's, had passed away suddenly 10 years prior with a massive heart attack. As Dot, as she preferred to be called, suffered with arthritis, the council agreed to move her from her beautiful 3-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom bungalow. Yeah. As she had trouble climbing the stairs and even doing the most mundane chores. Quite frankly, why don't you use the stairs or a stair lift and stop climbing them with heavy ropes and gear?
She's old, bless her.
The bungalow was modest. It wore a skirt. With a small kitchen, but nicely sized rooms. The best of all, she had a walk-in shower and bath. She thought it was the best thing ever. Yeah. Dot loved gardening on good days, and the bungalow was blessed with a spacious front garden and adorned with the sweetest smelling roses and a fair-sized back garden. Hello there!
Hi.
The things that were worth living for in Hounslow were the aircraft that flew over it. I can honestly say I used to live in Ealing, and you get the aircraft flying over. It seemed to be every 5 minutes you had a few flying airplanes over the property and the noise that came with it. Dot didn't mind at all. Within a day of moving in, she didn't notice them at all. Dot's family had grown up and moved away with a family of their own. Jason married a lovely young girl from Glasgow. So Jason, the eldest son of 3, moved to Glasgow. Mark, her middle son, set up his own business buying and selling cars. It did so well, he ended moving the business to Dubai, where he met the love of his life, Faroon, and they married and settled in Dubai. The youngest son, Daniel, joined the army, but sadly, he was killed in action after they found out he was gay. Soon after being deployed in the Gulf. Although the family hardly visited, they wrote on a regular basis and called her on her birthday and Christmas, and she felt as close to them as ever. 6 months after the move, Dot's health started to deteriorate. Her legs hurt. She couldn't walk far. Her hands and wrists were in so much pain she could hardly hold a small cup of tea. Everyday things.
I don't know that one.
Alexa, stop listening! She could hardly hold a small cup of tea. Everyday things that we take for granted were becoming more and more difficult, like weeing ourselves. The medication the doctor prescribed was no longer working, and she was wondering about the embarrassing erections. And the painkillers didn't work anymore. Dot was in her living room, sitting and trying to watch her favourite soap that had just started, fighting the pain that had also started when she heard the scratch at the door. The scratching was so loud that she heard it over the TV and in between the aircraft. So Dot heaved herself out of the chair and made her way to the kitchen. She went via the drawer first to pick up her favourite rolling pin to protect herself. You just never know, she thought to herself. So she unbolted the door and flung it open wide to find a huge brown and black cat sitting on the step. As soon as the cat saw the kitchen, it came running in and went meow. Just as though it lived there and it was time to be fed. You don't live here, Dot said to the cat. Your owners will be worried sick. I've just got to find that bit. Right. Dot tried to shoo the cat outside, but the feline just jumped up onto the kitchen work surface and started to rub itself all over and lick its penis. Her in the eye. And then he emitted the loudest purring you've ever heard. Oh, all right. One night won't hurt. No one's seen me. No one's seen you. Oh, I'm sure I can find a can of tuna or two. Dot managed to get the can open with her bad, dodgy wrists, and the cat ate almost every last morsel. You poor thing. You must have been hungry. A bowl of water was placed on the floor. The cat lapped it up. Oh, my program! Dot rushed back to the living room, and the cat followed. The cat jumped onto her lap and curled up and went to sleep. Dot noticed a strange warm sensation running from her lap and down her legs. And this time it wasn't urine. And down to her toes. And it didn't hurt and it wasn't wet, yet it felt comforting and it was there and it stayed until after the news at 10 had finished. Dot got up, turned off the TV and wondered where the cat would sleep. Don't worry about me. You just go to bed.
Yeah.
The cat spoke. Did that cat just speak? Or is my medical marijuana a bit strong? Must be my imagination, Dot thought to herself. I'm very tired. So, Dot got undressed, tripped over her boobs, stood up again, and put on her nightie. Then she climbed into bed, and as soon as her head hit the pillow, she was fast asleep. The next morning, Dot awoke to the sound of birds. Their dawn chorus. You know, the ones where they get the trumpets to go in the morning and tap out on your poppy roof. She swung her legs round and found her slippers in the colourful bedroom carpet. She stood up and was surprised to find no pain. She said, oh, no pain. This time she avoided tripping over her own breasts and she walked into the kitchen and put the kettle on. There was no pain at all from the waist down. Nothing from the waist down. I must remember to write a thank you letter to Anne Summers, she said. I feel like a young woman again, Dot thought to herself. The cat got up from the living room chair and started to meow. What's for breakfast, pretty lady? Did I just hear that cat talk again? She thought to herself. I must be going mad. She checked all the tins in the back of the cupboard and found a tin of sardines and tomato sauce. This will do nicely until I go to the shops. So the cat got fed and Dot got her bowl of cornflakes, as she normally did. Once they both finished, she opened the back door for the cat. He scurried out, and Dot got ready to go out with her little shopping trolley. We all know the cat was going out there going because it had tuna. That evening at 7 p.m., just when Dot was getting ready to watch her soap on the TV, the sound of scratching at the door was once again. So she got up and let the cat in, and as she did, she heard, "Hello!" the cat was talking again. This time, Dot had brought cat food and some cat milk, so he had something more suitable to feed the cat. "Here you go, my little friend," Dot said, and she set the bowls down and then went back into the living room. After the cat had finished these tasty morsels, it strode into the living room like it owned the place and jumped onto Dot's lap for a fussing. "Oh, you do like that, don't you?" she said. "Yes, I do. Behind my ears and under my chin especially. And that little bit right on the base of my bottom, right by my tail." "Ooh." The cat replied, "You actually talk human, like in English?" "Yes, my name's John. Glad to make your acquaintance, John the cat. And thank you for the dinner. It was delicious." "But how can you talk when you're a cat?" "Well, my mother taught me, and her mother taught my mum." I'm not actually sure what to think. A talking cat is unheard of. "Well, I'm not just any cat, am I? I'm a witch's cat. And I belong to the person who needs me the most." "Who did that?" "I You dirty bugger." "And I belong to the person who needs me the most. After my witch passed away, I promised that I would help people who need me." "So, who do you belong to, John?" "As of now, I belong to you." "Why?" "I am here to help you, Dot, if you'll have me. And I don't mean roughly from behind." I cannot believe this is a talking cat. I don't believe it. It's a talking cat. I got two cats right beside me now. "You must not tell anyone about me and must not tell anybody that I talk. And you must not tell anybody what I can do for you. That's the deal. Your legs and feet feel better, don't they?" "Well, yeah, better than I have done for years." "Good. Now, I need to work on the rest of you," he said coquettishly. I've lost myself now. Right. No, I need to work on the rest. Right. That's why I'm here. "Well, thank you, John. I really appreciate it." "No, thank you, Dot, for taking me in and believing in me, just when I needed some dinner." So the two of them lived together for the next 4 years. Dot's arthritis seemed to magically disappear, and she lived a very happy life in her bungalow with John for company. Sadly, Dot did pass away very suddenly in her sleep. She didn't know anything about it, just with a smile on her face and a thank you letter to Ann Summers in her screwed up hand. She passed away very happy and doing the thing she enjoyed most, her gardening. What happened to John, I hear you ask? Ask.
What happened to John?
Thank you. Well, nobody knew about John. It was as though he just disappeared until some months later, a particularly disabled lady named Jean was sitting in her bungalow in Feltham when she heard a scratching at the back door. Now, the moral of the story is, be nice to those cats that just turn up, especially the black ones, brown ones. It could be John coming to visit you. You never know. Thank you. There you go. That's Viv's story.
What did you think about that?
I liked it.
Done, Mark.
Thank you.
I like the embellished bits.
When I read the kids' when I read the grandchildren books, I always add bits and long bits and do all the different voices. And I think Rachel will tell you. I think she's heard me reading them stories and things. So I've always done it. But you have to. You can't just. I always find that with a book, you can't just read the book. If you're doing the different voices, you've got to add bits. And it makes people laugh. Hope you didn't mind.
So, do you want to know who that's based on?
Well,
he's not here.
I thought it was him, John.
Well, John, if you ask him, have you been a good boy? He replies, no. He actually says no. And I thought, oh, that's a good basis for a story. I'll just write a shit story about John and an old lady and how he helps her. See, my mind is just full of all these nonsense stories. So
Anytime you want a hand, just give us a shout.
I might have to get you to do the audio book.
Yeah, that's all right.
We got some things, people in the chat. I better start showing some of these. So let's go from.
That's my other half. Hello, Mrs.
Hi, Rachel. Jay's in the chat. Hi,
Jamie.
Jay.
Hi, Jeremy.
No, that's Jeremy. Jamie.
Hi, Tony. Oh, thank you. Happy birthday, Jess. Jess was a purely fictional character, honestly. Hi, Wayne.
Hi, Wayne.
Hi, David. David, you recognise some of the places that I write about: Felton, Bedfont, Hounslow, all sorts of places.
Oh, I know Hounslow. Ooh, lock your doors up when you drive through them.
Hi, Rob. Hi, bye, Bill. Negan. Oh, you're drinking Prime. Oh, it's that one. Oh,
I like this one. They had a 4-pack. They did three 4-packs for 12 quid in Farm Foods last week, and I got them. Becky's wiped half of them out, and I've had some of them. And that was the last one, and I've not touched it for days. So I thought, right, I'm going to drink that tonight.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Rachel. Thanks, William. Hey, have I just jumped into one of my spookanories? Yeah, but yours are long stories. Mine are short. I only do little bitty ones. Hi, Kelly.
Did you crack one off?
Did anybody else's Alexa go off as well?
Did you hear her again? I'm sorry, I don't know. Yeah, we all know who they're not bloody happy with at the moment, don't we?
Yeah.
Is his name Who? Who Edwards?
No.
We'll talk about him in a minute.
No. I was thinking more of Pilchard Paste. Hang on, so does Mark. So does Mark what?
I don't know. Fart?
Yeah, a lot.
So I think tonight, this evening, late afternoon, it was announced who this BBC presenter is that is in trouble, or was in trouble. And it is Hugh Edwards. His wife announced it. So it's all out there in the open, and he is having mental health care at the hospital as well. So
you called it last night, and when I was talking to Rachel, before I mentioned you, she said his name, and I said, funny enough, Viv said that. You were both spot on. You called it.
Wow.
Yeah, but with it all said and done, I wish that man no ill, and I just hope that he gets the help and the care that he needs, because he has had a breakdown. So yeah, he's a royal correspondent, and he's in everybody's household on the telly every night reading the news. So yeah, it's out there.
What he says, the allegations of him being a bit of a fiddler, there's no evidence they stopped, but he's had a breakdown.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because the way it's come out, he was I don't know. Anyway, the story will unravel, I'm sure, in the weeks and days to come. So yeah, it's a shame.
When you ask if he's been a good boy, no, I wag my tail when I've been asked if I'm a good boy. Ghost, stop it. You sound like a helicopter when you do that.
Yeah.
Hey, Ghost.
we don't know. We don't know whether it's true or not because there is money involved.
Yeah.
The pet and the boy or the teenager involved when it happened was 17, and in this country you can have
16.
carnal relations at 16. So
Really?
was that breaking the law? Who
Huh.
knows?
Wasn't it, if I remember rightly, the laws in regards to having was 16? It used to be, don't quote me on this, but it used to be 16 with parental consent for heterosexual, and it was 18 for homosexual.
I don't know.
Hey,
I don't know.
it's 18 here, so
I think it's still 16 here. I think it's 16. I don't think there was any laws that were passed to change that. I think the smoking one they were doing it, but there are more people coming forward with stuff. What annoying me is my cousin took his life over the weekend massively after his parents died recently and couldn't get mental health treatment, and yet a celebrity can go into hospital straight away. Yes, That's a good point. That is a really good point, Sarah, because as we know, our National Health Service is failing us big time, and it's not just people that want operations. There's all the other bits that are around it, like mental health, dental. Well, there is no NHS dentists anymore. You have to pay for everything. Yeah. So yeah, it then starts going political, doesn't it? So
We leave that to the Dark Mirror radio show.
yes, tune in on
with
Tuesday.
Wayne and myself and yourself and anybody else.
Yeah.
It's not Richard Close.
Do you know, Rachel's saying it's illegal to share images before 18. And it's also illegal whether you're 18 or not. If, for example, I send pictures of me nudie to my husband, two adults consent, he can look at my pictures. But then if he shares those pictures with other people, he's then breaking the law. Regardless of me sending them to him in the first place, is that the act that he's sharing. Yeah. What was you going to say, Erik?
Why do you cats, regardless of whether they're wicked cats or not, why did they come up and go, look at my butthole?
Because they want you to smell it. That's how they greet each other.
Nah. I blew her and she went, ooh.
That's a pretty cat.
Yeah.
That's Lilo. This is Lilo.
Wow.
I like the markings.
She is, I think you call them in America, a tuxedo cat.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh,
I
really?
had a tuxedo cat, but he got squashed.
Oh, I would pick her up, but she look what she did to my hand. That's what happens. She's fierce.
So, do you want to talk about something controversial that happened today with you, Mark, or shall we leave that one alone?
You can do.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Do you want to name and shame, or you don't want to give him? Well, up to you. I'll let you tell the story.
Let's put it this way: there's been somebody on the paranormal who've been friends with for a while. Is a little bit of a prima donna, but has never been too bad. Those people who used to have like TV shows that weren't particularly very good, and they still think like Knight Rider, David Hasselhoff. It was good in the 80s, but he still thinks he's fabulous and can, Well, one of those people, he's all of a sudden turned away from the paranormal, been a paranormal investigator for years, Mr. Richard Case, and was the Ghost Challenger, where he used to say he was completely on his own doing his investigations, and I know damn well he wasn't on some of them.
We know somebody who was with him.
We do know somebody who was with him.
Yes.
So it took bollocks. And then all of a sudden, he's just completely turned on the whole paranormal community. And I mean, the whole paranormal community. All paranormal investigators or paranormal teams, anybody who's into the paranormal, that's not folklore or mythical. He's just had it in for them. And he's been putting all this crap up on his walls, and everybody's been looking at it and looking at it and looking at it, and he's had people like blocking him and walking away in droves. And I thought, that's enough today. And I stood up to him and I went, no, what are you doing? You're not like this. You're better than this. Just because you've been on the James Whale show, stop acting like him. James Whale was a hack in the 90s. And he had that god awful show that everybody slammed, and that's what got him the awards, is because he did controversial stuff. And I get that. You get the money and you get the people coming in because you're controversial. I completely get that. But then, and I'm trying to say to him, look, you're upsetting everybody in the paranormal world. You were an investigator yourself, and you suddenly turned your back just overnight on everybody, and you're slagging everyone off, saying, "Oh, look at those idiots with their headlamps. Look at these people. Oh, let's go and find a bed sheet and stuff like that." And it's like, it's not fair. You shouldn't be doing it. If you don't like it now, that's your, that's your thing, your problem. That's absolutely fine. But don't put all this stuff on there. And then when people say to you what you're doing, turn around and say, "Oh, it's jokes," because it's not. That's the sort of thing kids do. They'll say something to upset you, and when you go, "Why did you do that?" They go, "Oh, it's a joke." My kids used to do it. One of my kids still does it now. And I called him out for it, and I stood up for everybody on behalf of the paranormal community. And what are you doing? And then he slagged the Dark Mirror show off. Said it was a knitting circle. Now, I'm not having that. At the end of the day, it's my show, run with my good friend Wayne, now with Viv and Dan and everybody else, and Josh and all the guests we've had on there. You're slating everybody, and that was it. That was the funnest. Fuck you, mate. No, your ego's got too big, and you got out of hand.
He even slated world-renowned parapsychologists that have studied for years to get their credibility, and he even went and had a pop at them.
Souls have been weighed. It's been proved scientifically. When you die, your energy leaves your body, and it's been done, unfortunately, with people who knew they were dying. They said, "Yes, you can do this" on those special scales. It's been proved scientifically, and yet this guy's into folklore and myths, which myths come from superstitions. Superstitions come from things that have been either misseen or paranormal stuff that have been seen and written down and changed down throughout the eons. So it's still part of the paranormal. I'm a ufologist and a cryptozoologist, but I still do the paranormal stuff. I still believe in it, but I don't believe that every single investigation you go on, something happens, because it doesn't. Most orbs are dust. They're not anything else. Those of you who've ever seen a real orb, you will know instantly the difference between a genuine orb and an insect or a piece of dust. And you guys all know that. You in the chat room know that. But going on there and slating everybody and running your mouth for 3 days, and it's not just me, pissed off so many people, and they've all tried to say, "Oh, hang on, pack it in. What you doing?" And then he's done all this, and I'm not having it. And then when I was trying to say, "Mate, wind your neck in, stop upsetting people," you're doing it probably because you've James Whale has said, "Oh, if you do this, you're going to get all the interaction and you'll get all this." He's done it. It's backfired. People are leaving his stuff in droves. And then he's just got really nasty. And then he wonders, when he slated the show, why I turned around and said, "You know what, fuck you, mate, done with you." And I even turned around and said, we'll continue this discussion when I see you at a convention. That's not meant as anything like, I'm not going to go poof or anything like that. It just means we'll carry it on, because I'm not going to do it over Facebook. So, but yeah. Oh, yeah, Mr. Ooh. And I even told him he was a nomosexual. So, yeah, a closet nomosexual.
So I know the big bosses. I say the big bosses. I worked for a company that owns the channel, let's say, that he appears on with said James Whale. And if people are very upset about Richard Case's antics, please, all I can say is email Simply Spooky, email your grievances, what winds you up, what you don't like, all the rest of it. Do that, email it into the Simply Spooky network. I will print them off and I will personally walk them into the office.
Okay. You hear that, everybody?
Right. So if I have enough, and I need quite a few, it starts there. I can also print off the thing that he's doing. Okay, that's his own page, but the comments and his reactions, I can also print those off, and I can walk every single one on paper and hand it to the management team and directors.
He turned around and said, "I'll come on your show and discuss it." And they had always kicked off because he's been trying to come on the show. You can ask Wayne. He's been trying to come on the show for a long time. And the whole reason I've never had him on the show is because everything we talk about on the show, Wayne and myself, it's research. So we may come across as jokey and laughy and not knowing what we're talking about, but I'm telling you, we do, and we know our stuff. And I've got all this stuff saved on computers and things from all the research. If he came on the show, he would have been torn a new one. He thinks James Whale is a bit. Trust me, I can be way worse than James Whale. I stand up for the little guys in the paranormal field because I can't stand paranormal bullying. And if he came on the show, I would have torn him a new one and said, "You're a joke. Yeah, absolute joke. Stop it."
Maybe we should get him on the show and give him a chance to, because on this show, because in fact, we should do it after all the paperwork has been handed to the bosses of Talk Radio. We could do that and let him retort to what we get from other paranormal investigators and their responses and how they feel and how he's making them feel. So we could do that. There is something we can do, and bring him in to answer to what the public and what the paranormal community.
He told me I didn't have the balls. Didn't have the balls to have him on the show because he'd be right. And it's like, you really have no idea who you're talking to, do you? You think I ain't got the balls. But I'm not going to be goaded into giving him airtime and getting him on the show because that's what he's after. And acting like James Whale, he's literally the same. How James Whale, his persona is he has to be rude, offhand, egotistical, and that's what gets him the views. And Richard was never like that. So he was a bit egotistical and a bit arrogant, but not like this. And since he's been on that bloody show, he's like this now. And it's like, you stupid little tosser. You've pissed everybody off.
But I've watched a couple of those shows, and all they do is, and if you watch it properly, they're mocking him.
Yeah,
and they're taking the mickey out of him.
He's
Whale,
the ball guy. Yeah, he's only on there for them to take the piss out of, and he doesn't get it.
No,
he just doesn't get it. It's like, mate, he's made you a laughing stock, and now you're trying to act like him, and you're the fall guy on their show.
Yeah. What I don't like, and what I find quite
sorry.
No, don't be sorry. What I find quite disturbing is he will do this, and then next week he will come on and blame his mental health.
Yeah, he will.
Don't do that.
I had a breakdown, or I had no. Fuck off. No,
he knows exactly what he's doing.
He does, and it's for the views and the controversy.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. So he can go back and look at this. But the thing is, people are leaving his stuff in droves.
Yeah. I'm not impressed.
We're no angels on the show, but we will I won't ridicule any of you guys.
But the thing is, he dictates to people what we should and shouldn't be doing. Yeah. And that's what, no one should dictate to anyone. You can advise. You can give them your views, your point of views, but you never dictate and tell people you're breaking the law, you're doing this and you're doing that, and you're those people that use cat balls. What did he say? Something?
Don't. But no. Because Wayne and I were talking about. We've talked about stuff on the show, and as we did with your show as well. When people want advice on what to use and what to take and that, we give advice. Say, well, personally, I wouldn't take all this, but if you're going to do this, Wayne and I have done the same time on several of our shows. Look at those people chasing bed sheets around. I'll go and cut some holes in. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Some people have lost loved ones, and that's why they've started doing this. I've been into this as a kid, but I lost my dad, never spoken to him since he's gone, but I know a couple of people have, and I've felt him near me. My son died, and I've seen him. I've seen like that walking up the stairs. Yeah. And it's like, and for you to sit there and slate everybody who's lost a loved one and does this because they've lost a loved one, or they do it so that they can talk to their loved ones, how bloody arrogant of you.
That's a good point, Wayne. He's also... normal people that pay to go on public events that he's also upset.
Yeah.
He thinks James Whale is best.
He told me off for spelling whale wrong. I knew I was spelling it wrong in the first place, and I'm like, I don't care how you spell it. He's still a tit.
Yeah. You don't ridicule your friends. I'm angry by his actions.
No.
Yeah. He is.
You know he's going to go, oh, I'm so sorry, it's my mental health. I had a... No, you went on the James Wells show. Your ego's got too big. You've turned into a paranormal bully, and you know you have.
Yeah. You have been, Wayne.
Right. We're doing a show on Monday, Wayne. We will bring this up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
My stepson took his own life because of his mental health, you know? But
yeah, I mean, people suffer with mental health in different ways, in different forms. There's varying levels of it. But for him to pluck it out of nowhere after this, watch, this is my prediction. Next week, he will be blaming mental health.
Yep.
And if he does that, I will get him on the show and I will rip him a new arsehole. And
Carry on as a special guest. Don't let him know I'm going to be there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're on.
And Wayne.
And Wayne and Erik, if you want to. Dan, whoever's around. Yes.
Sensationalism. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I will tell him that I'll be taking paperwork to the bosses.
No, his issues are not to the extent he's making out, Ellen. No. Whenever there's been stuff in the news, if you watch his stuff and look at it, because I've blocked him now, but if you look at his stuff and look at his threads on everything, whenever something becomes prominent in the news, like be it mental health, be it paranormal bullying, be it this, be it that, all of a sudden he's been affected by it. Yeah. All of a sudden he's got mental health. All of a sudden he's got this.
Come on. The more people that want to have a rant. Yes, come on. We'll get you on. You can have your rant. People in the chat. We'll put a link in the chat if you just want to get it off your chest and just say it, because I know he's not been banned from this network. He can go in and look at it at any time and see what people want to say about him, because it is just not on what you're doing. You know,
I never had that much of a problem with him when I used to talk to him. You know, and then he like all this stuff where he says he was a copper. No, he was a special. You were a special. You tell everybody you were a copper. No, you were a special. You were a special constable. Nothing else.
Yeah. No, it's
all the stuff he comes out with is all bloody lies. He was a copper. No, he was special. Oh, I was all on my own when I did the Ghost Hamster. No, you weren't. There were people there. You know, stop it.
Yeah, I agree, Sarah.
Yeah, I'm having to calm down. I've had a massive headache all day, and that so wound me up.
Do you know, like, he's on a par with that idiot that rhymes with Puff. He's on a par with him. They're like level peggings at the minute. They're both dickheads.
It's like I've always said, you know, I've said to him a few times, I think he's closet. I do think he's closet, and I think it's sweet that he does his little pictures like this with his chihuahua and stuff. But I think if he's got mental health issues and he's in the closet, just come out and tell everybody that you are nomosexual. Just please, just for the sake of everybody, tell him you're into gnomes. All right?
Yeah, he wasn't.
It's all right, Sarah. Thank you. Richard Case.
Yeah. But, you know, we're not telling people that you should hate him. We're not telling people that you should join us on a witch hunt. That's not what this is about. We're discussing his actions and what he's doing to other people there in the community. And it is wrong.
It is. It's wrong. I have no idea why he's doing it. Because he never... It's like I said, whenever something's predominant, all of a sudden he's got it or he's been affected by it. And he's always been like that. And it's that's what I meant about prima donna. But everybody just goes, it's Richard. You know, he's all right. But then this, no. Folklore is all based on myth, superstition, and legend. And all myths, superstition, and legends come from stories either mistold, misseen, or miswritten down. Because in the Dark Ages, it's called the Dark Ages because nobody could read or write apart from the clergy and scribes. So that's why it's called Dark Ages, because a lot of stuff is missing that was never written down. It was an oral tradition. So a lot of things are being misheard and missaid. You know, Nessie, which comes under cryptozoology, that started as a sighting by a priest. You know, and it's now been proved that there is something going on under there, and that it is seasonal, and that it migrates twice a year.
Right, so I'm going to read from his page 58 minutes ago. This is Richard Case. A lot of paranormal podcasts have their specially selected guests and are afraid to court controversy. Really? They often sit and smoke and actually just chat. Boring. Just look at their number of followers and likes. I prefer feisty debate, something to get your teeth into. Stop the knitting and comfy chat. Debate.
There you go. That's a pop at the Dark Mirror radio show.
Yeah.
We're boring. We're boring.
Oh, we're boring.
Apparently, apparently boring. Wait, we're boring.
That Tuesday show when we spoke about that controversial subject about ghost girlfriends and boyfriends, I don't think it was boring.
Oh, and I need to take a chill pill, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? People get very personal when I challenge their beliefs.
No, he didn't challenge my beliefs. He challenged everybody and everybody who's lost a loved one. He challenged everybody in the paranormal community's beliefs. Idiot.
Are you sure it's not your mental illness? Passive aggression. At no point have I personally attacked anyone, unless provoked, of course. I am very well, thank you. I'm just challenging paranormal investigations.
No, he's not. He's doing it in a very rude, offhand, and nasty manner. And everybody, it's there on his walls. You can see it. You can read it yourselves. You know, and it's not just me.
And 35 minutes ago, how is everyone spending their evening? Hope you're all safe and well. Heart. Stay safe and remember, it's all about challenging, Richard.
No. What? There's challenging an issue is talking about it and not ridiculing. You look at his stuff on his wall and you'll see he has ridiculed investigations and investigators and teams. Okay, and then 25 minutes ago, true friendship respects you for what you are and don't try to change you. I have very good friends who wear dodgy t-shirts in abundance, use kitten balls and still love them. And still love me as I them. So he's mocking people on paranormal investigations that have cat balls. So he's singled out the cat ball. Have a look at his stuff. Seriously, just have a look at his stuff. The things about bed sheets and this, that, and the other. Now, if that's discussion and challenging a viewpoint, I've never heard. The only time I've ever heard people doing it like that is when they're trying to have a fight or trying to have a squat or trying to have an argument.
2 hours ago, I'm going to cover myself in tin foil and buy some sage to protect myself from the ghost hunters. They may send me some bad vibes over the waves. Laugh out loud. Is that bullshit I smell? So he's clearly having some issues of his own.
Yeah.
You know, I will be fair to the man. Come on here. I will get him on here. I guarantee you he won't come on.
No, you won't.
I will send him the invitation. I will get him on and I will get him to answer questions. Because I think this needs nipping in the bud. He won't, I won't be shouting at him. I won't be derogatory to him. I'll be asking him to answer why he's put all that. It's not challenging.
If you keep reading, they some of them are really rude. And then when I started off challenging him about this, or not challenging, but confronting him about this, I ain't going to use challenging and saying, what are you doing? You know you're upsetting people, pack it in. And then he got really like, it's only for laughs, isn't it? It's only no, it's not laughs if you're upsetting people. And you know you are, and he knows he is, and he knows why he's doing it. You know, and then he had a pop about the show because I said, no, I don't want you on the show because it's not fair to everybody else, and I wouldn't do it to everybody else because I don't think it would be fair to give him airtime after he's been on the James Whale show and he's acting like this. If he was his normal self, yes, but when he's acting like this, no, he's blown it. He's absolutely blown it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want somebody like that on the show.
Well, that's all right. I'll get him on my show, and then what I'll do is get people on, and because mine is all recorded, I'll send it to James Whale.
Yeah.
Answer this.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at this. So yeah.
Like I say,
Anyway, got some things in the chat.
Huh?
I said to Wayne when I first met Richard back in 2017. When did they go? When did they go to the cage? I didn't really like him now, and I really don't fluffing like him. Yes, no. I went down to Bristol for work and met up with him and his team. We did an investigation at a church. Now he says he has never been an investigator, so now I'm a liar. Hi, Andy.
You all right, mate?
We're having a bit of...
He lives down the road in another village down.
We're having a rant.
Team.
Fluffing Arsenio and...
But that going to a more non-named people, people that just go into these sites that we have or that I'm a member of saying, hey, I don't believe that because prove it to me. Well, okay, number one, like this one, I just had a conversation or an argument with a lady that said, well, how can you believe in Bigfoot? You've never seen a female one. I said, yes, there has been a female one. There's been pictures of them. And I put up the most famous one, which is a female one. And I'm like, there you go.
You know what?
It needs to be
people that want this proof, people that want to see this or do that or hear this or experience that, they need to go out and investigate for themselves. Why are they sitting in their armchairs saying, prove it, prove it?
Don't believe me. Go investigate. Yeah. Go do the research.
It's like people that do lives.
Thank you.
People that do lives. Some people are doing lives when they do a ghost hunt. They'll go live. They've got a very big following. And whether you choose to watch it or not is down to the individual. We're all adults. We can all make up our own minds. And I've watched a few lives and seen the comments from people that are can't get out their house. They're in a wheelchair. They love the paranormal. And by these people going out and doing their lives with the teams, it's like them actually being there. And, they live for that sort of thing. So, I don't care what people do, but it's like, be nice to one another. You don't have to agree with everything that everybody does, but you can be nice about it. You don't have to be out there finger pointing. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. Who made you God and ruler over everybody? Are you my manager? No. Do you pay me? No. So I will do what I like. Do you pay my bills? No. Do you buy my equipment? No. So yeah. And this is not just Richard. This is anybody. This is everybody.
Here we go. This was I can't look at it now. It's a screenshot, but one of the screenshots. Where was it?
The ones you sent to me.
Yeah, when he said about the show.
Go on to your messages to me, and they'll be on there.
Yeah, I'm just having a look. I can't. When he said he wasn't ridiculing everybody, that's right. And he said, what? Ridiculing paranormal investigators for what they wear? No, I said, what? Ridiculing paranormal investigators for what they wear, believe, and how they investigate. When you were one once, don't you think maybe that's bullying? And he goes, I was never one. And it says there in black and white, I never was one. Yet he tells everybody he was, and he was a ghost challenger. And yes, take the mickey of scientists and white coats by all means. Have me on your show and grill me. And I said, no, not after this. You wouldn't last 5 minutes. I've more respect for my friends and colleagues. There was a time we were thinking of asking you on, but you've taken this too far now.
Yeah.
Your ego has got far too big. And I'm sorry, Richard, but you're deliberately doing this to piss people off so you can get the interactions. Not good. And then he said, his answer to that was, you haven't the balls to have me on more, like you prefer everyone sitting and knitting together.
Yeah.
Do you know what? In this country where we live, you can name and shame anybody on your own network, on your own wall. You could put what you want. You can mention people's names. It doesn't matter. You will not get arrested for it. I know that we've named and shamed him tonight, but I think it needed to happen because he's upsetting too many people. It's too many people getting very upset. I think, if we could get him on and answer to, get the people that he responded to quite nastily and get them on and say, right, now respond to them face to face. Don't just do it behind a keyboard.
Yeah.
There they are. They're on this show. Get them on. Talk to them personally. What are you trying to tell them? But the thing is, if we did that, it could get out of hand and could get quite nasty. Could get quite nasty.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know what I'm like, and I will not have him slating my show, our presenters, and our guests. No. Our show is getting really popular, and the whole reason it's the style that it is because when we did it other ways, it was boring. So we do it now, and everybody likes it. So,
Well, like I keep reminding people, paranormal just means not normal. That's it.
yeah, we're all bloody weird in one way or another. I've been, I'll tell you now, I've been getting help, counselling because of my stepson dying, and it was me that found him and blah, 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 along with Sheldon, and we did all the CPR and everything. But it affected me way more than I ever realised, and it affected me deeply, and I was not myself, and I've had a lot of counselling, and I'm finally there, and now I'm getting counselling for my other issues, which is all to do with that and various things. And the fact that I don't use paranormal investigations, I've never used it to try and talk to my late stepson. I've never used it to try and talk to my dad. I've never used it to try and talk to my nan. I do it because I like watching other people who are gifted, enjoying themselves. I like bringing team together, and I love researching, finding out the history. And if I see things happening when I'm on an investigation, awesome. It just reaffirms my own personal beliefs. I don't think every investigation something happens. 9 out of 10 investigations, the only thing you'll catch is a cold. Anybody who goes along to every single investigation says, "Oh my God, this happened." No, sorry, mate. No, I didn't. And I also do it because I call out charlatans. And I'm not going to say who, but I've had a couple of charlatans try and tell me all about my son who wanted to talk to me. And they completely screwed it up with telling me about a 4 or 5-year-old. He wasn't. He took his own life the week before his 14th birthday. So, and I was just going, oh yeah, and I won't give any stuff for cold reading.
Yeah.
If you want to call people out for that, Richard, do it with my blessing and everybody else's blessings, because you shouldn't have it. People that make money off of stuff like that, no. But people who have their own beliefs and have started doing investigating because they want to talk to a loved one, even if it's a lost pet or a lost dog, it's still a family member and somebody that was loved. You shouldn't be posting all this shite on your Facebook wall, poo-pooing everybody who's done that, and then because I've stood up for them, gone, oh, no, that's wrong, you're doing it for the likes, then have a pop at me and our show, just because you're in the bloody wrong. Stop it. Put up an apology and say, look, I'm sorry. Don't use mental health as an excuse, because nobody will believe you. Just say, look, I've been a dick, I'm sorry. We'll be forgotten about. But he has gone too far, and people do this, like I say, they do it because they love the paranormal. They do it because they've lost people, they've lost loved ones. Don't ridicule those people. It's not fair on them.
Yeah, it's also the medium.
Chihuahuas. Yeah.
Oh, Chihuahua.
Aye, Chihuahua. Gives me bad ideas.
Sharp Ginge.
There's an old saying, because I've got people messaging me at the moment. I'm like, yeah, he's a fucking idiot. He boils my piss at the moment.
Wayne does it because he likes walking around with the lights out. Wayne's just weird, but we love him.
I love doing investigations with Wayne. We always have fun when we do investigations together.
He's
You know?
mental.
And we'll,
He's
if
mental.
anything happens, we'll properly investigate and go, oh, no, it's this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding.
But the thing is, in this field, you're always going to get drama. Because let's do this. Oh, Rachel, I'll do one for you. You'll have to do it when you come around mine. When you stay over mine, because we'll be a couple of hours. The boys can go and piss off, do motorbikes, whatever, and we can. Yeah, I'll do it for you. Just make sure I don't know any of your personal stuff or anything. Well, I don't. So, yeah, and it'll be free. Free.
There you go, Rachel.
Wow.
That's good. That is good.
It is paranormal bullying, and it is social media bullying, and they've passed laws over here about it as well. So he does need to be careful what he's putting up there.
Wow.
So Richard, if you're watching,
Oh, I have no doubt somebody's told him.
if you're watching this, what I'm about to say is for you and for you directly, and I'm going to look straight into the camera, Richard. I am inviting you onto my show. I want you to talk about what you've done today and yesterday and all this week, and I want to know how you justify it. So, Richard, if you want to come on, message me. I'll have you on gladly. But I will also, if people in the chat that want to know answers and want to put them to you directly, I will get them in so you can face them and answer their questions directly, calmly. There will be no witch hunt or anything like that because I don't believe in them.
I'll make sure I bring my knitting for the knitting circle.
Yes, bring the knitting. I've got some wool somewhere. You can make some orbs.
I'll make some willy warmers.
Okay, for my Willy.
Yeah.
He's got knitting. You sit there and do your knitting, Erik. But no, seriously, Richard, get in touch with the page, message me, and we'll sort it out and we'll get you on, because you do need to answer to what you've just done. And the public will have questions. Paranormal investigators will have questions. And even those parapsychologists, if they wanted to come on and ask you directly, I'll get them on too. So this is your chance, Richard. If you want to come on and answer to what you're saying and what you're doing, I will hear the other side. But I'm not responsible for other people's questions to you, and you have a duty to answer them now, don't you think?
You wait and see what goes up on his wall now. That's why he said a good question. Why shit on the people that have worked alongside you for years? And he has.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. He's gone from being, like I say, a little bit of a prima donna to, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And like you say, I bet you it'll be blamed on mental health.
He's messy.
Yeah.
Well, Rachel, things might not even come through yet, so you don't know. We'll just have a cup of tea and sit and have a chat. It will be a few hours.
We'll have a weekend with you, Viv, because I'm going to be moving house in August, but we'll try and come up and have a weekend with you if that's all right.
Yeah, yeah, of course it will. Hi, Colette.
I can see John, the talking cat.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I'm not a witch. I'm an old dragon. I'm an old dragon. I'm not a witch.
It's like you've probably seen in the show. I do not like being off with people. I will stand up for what I believe in, and you know, like this sort of thing is what I mean by when I say I love a good argument. When somebody does this, I'll stand up for it and go, no, what are you talking about? But it's not like him, and he's gone too far, and it's got nasty. You know, I haven't. Well, I am insulting his TV stuff now because he had people there and told everybody he was on his own, purely because he's had a pop at the show twice. Fuck you. Nothing wrong with the show. Do I need a cuddle? Yes, I do. Rachel's just messaged me and said, "Do you need a cuddle?" Yeah, I do. I do. Oh, yeah.
Oh, bless her.
Bastard.
I'm a crabby crab.
Do you know who's got crabs, apparently?
What the fuck?
Do you know who's got crabs?
Go on.
Apparently. According to Tony Stackwell, the Ginger Ninja's got crabs.
Poor
Who's the Ginger Ninja?
Lois.
Lois. Apparently. Yeah.
No, I could tell it because he's had stuff before where he's gone on and Wayne and I have gone, oh, what do you think of that? And it's just like, I like, there's been a few times like Richard's messaged, Wayne said, oh, why have I upset Mark? And it's like, because you don't know when to stop. And now this time, he's gone too far this time. And because it's not just me, it's everybody. And as I say, it's the show. And Wayne's on it, you're on it. Everybody else who's a guest presenter on it, or every now and again presenter or guest.
You know, when I did the Paracons, when I arranged the Paracons, the big Paracons, I was hounded by Richard. Have me on as a guest speaker. Have me on as a guest speaker. And then I got.
Robert said, sorry.
So I'll go back to them in a minute.
BBCs.
And then I was speaking at another Paracon, which I'm not going to mention. And because I was a speaker there, he was then messaging me that he wanted to speak at that Paracon, trying to jump on bandwagons and push himself forward. So we know what Richard is doing. It's quite obvious, you know, okay, there's nothing wrong with putting yourself forward if you want to achieve something. I get that. But when you're doing it to the detriment of others, like you've done today, I think it's very wrong, and you need to be held to account for it.
I've seen this in the martial arts world too, when people get too big-headed and cocky. Again, I won't mention names. I've had it a few years back when I used to teach a particular kung fu instructor. Again, I won't mention names. I won't mention styles. Came along to my club and was showing off. And you do get it, unfortunately. You get other instructors come in and think they can take the instructor of that particular art just to show off. And he was doing it with me. And he was warned 3 times in line sparring, pack it in, wind your neck in. Don't know what you're doing this for, but stop it. And he had 2 of his pupils with him. And he came in full power. Remember, I've got a metal leg. And I train in 1-punch knockouts, and I do nerve techniques.
Yeah.
Put him straight in his ass 3 times in the first minute. You know? And it was then, and I just said to him, out.
Yeah.
You know, there's only one reason why he came in, only one reason why he did it. And it's the same with Richard. There's only one reason why you're doing it.
Yep.
Oh. Love Ellen. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time he goes to do something, he cancels it and goes, oh, my anxieties have got the better of me. I can't do it. Well, if anxieties have got the better of you, how come you can gob off behind a keyboard?
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm too wound. Oh,
I
can pierce my own nipples. I'm so angry.
Don't get us wrong. People are entitled to their own opinions.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's entitled to their own opinions. You know, we've even had healthy debates and not agreed, and you know, people don't like Zach Bagans. I liked him on one episode of.
I used to like him, and then the same with thing that's happened to Richard. His ego went.
Yeah,
and he just got rude and arrogant.
But there's no need for rudeness. There is no need for rudeness, and you know, biting the hands that feed you and all that sort of thing. There's just no need for it, and there's no room for it, and it is bullying. But if you want to bully Richard, let's do it face to face, seriously, because some of the stuff that you're saying, even about me, my network, you would not say it to my face. I guarantee you he would word that very differently. Very differently.
I know damn well if we sat down in the same room that there'd be an apology straight away.
Of course I would. Of course I would.
I worked hard to get this show. going and taking it from the original format to get it where it is now, where people actually like it now. And I will not have any. But it's my puppy, my baby.
It's your baby. It's your baby.
I'm my kids. I'm my grandkids, obviously. But and it works. And Wayne and I work. We've been mates for years. We bounce off each other well. He's my bestie, and we work well. And I am not having some hack, some wannabe from yesteryear come on and slate it and say it's a knitting circle. No, it's not. You've all seen the show. You know damn well we're not a knitting circle.
Shall we all get some knitting needles and some wool and just sit there one day? This is for you, Richard.
Yeah.
Richard. Making the scarf.
Colette, Richard Case. Yeah, it did.
Oh, well.
That's true. It's true.
It's just made me so angry because he's gone from being, it's Richard, and everybody goes, it's Richard. But everybody has friends like that, and everybody knows people in all walks of life, all things, and all paranormal bits where it's such and such, And then all of a sudden he's gone bang. Why?
Let's tell Colette, let's just straighten it up. It's not Richard Felix. Nothing to do with Richard Felix.
No.
Oh, no. No, we love Richard Felix. It's Richard Case.
Go on, have a look on his wall now. Let's have a look.
Go and have a look.
I can't.
Are you blocked? Oh, yeah.
I blocked him. Twat.
The Ghost Challenger. There's no one.
She just said it. Who's he?
Exactly. Brilliant.
Have ever any of you read the Discworld books?
No.
You've never read any
I've
of the
bought many of them. I've bought them, but not read them.
I've got every single one of them. And I've met him, and I've had his autograph. I met him when he was reading down at Madden to Swords and everything. Okay, thank you. And there's my daughter, Becky, who went back yesterday. There's a character in it called Foul Old Ron, who's a tramp and has a stench so bad it has its own character. I'm not saying Richard smells or anything like that. What I'm saying is you got Foul Old Ron with his stench that's so bad it's got its own character, and then you've got Richard with an ego so fucking big it's got its own personality. In fact, I'll tell you what, he's got an A-lister personality for a Z-lister person.
Oh dear.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. He's really wound me up.
It's okay.
Erik, is that your missus?
Yeah.
Right, get her on camera a minute. Thank you. Erik.
I would like to tell him a piece of my mind.
You are more than welcome to.
Yeah.
I don't care who he is. I'd give him a piece of my mind anyway.
Okay, you do that.
I love it. We are related, She's got a bad temper like me.
Yeah.
I maybe have
off my medication. Oh.
No, because we don't want that, because we have problems when you go off your medication. No. No.
So we could take Erik and Rita to Somerset, near Bristol, where Richard is from. You never know, you might see him. We might meet him walking his little chihuahua.
Closet. That's all I'll say.
Big twat.
It all started when he had an argument with Matt Moss.
Daniel Moss. Do you know Danny Moss, right? I hear a lot of conflicting stuff about Danny Moss.
On Twitter.
But the thing with Danny Moss is...
I'm going to get Wayne to join us.
Yes, Wayne.
Come on, Wayne.
Join us, Wayne.
Hang on, let me get a link over to him. You just chat a minute about Danny Moss. Hold that thought.
I don't know who Danny Moss is.
I don't know who Danny Moss is.
And I guess he's got green underpants, but I don't know.
I got green.
Danny Moss is on Amazon
Oh.
Prime, and he has a show called My Haunted Hotel or Haunted Hotel or something like that. I don't know.
Right, yeah.
So, he's successful in what he does. He enjoys himself. Good luck to him. But he's also very opinionated. And he does upset people. Sometimes he can be in your face sort of thing.
Yeah.
Not always taken the right way by people. But if you do stuff with Danny, expect to be criticised or whatever, that's just the way he is. Some people don't like that. Take him or leave him. He's like Marmite. Like him or don't like him.
Mm.
What, you want to ask?
Danny Moss. Take him or leave him. He's like
Hey,
Marmite.
Ryan.
Hello! Billy
Hello.
Idol.
Sorry, I haven't done my makeup and my hair today. So
That's all right, Billy Idol. We can let you off.
Now, you were saying, mate. Erik,
You're
you
half
got
of the
to Erik. Erik.
Sorry?
Erik, you got to do this.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
For someone that's not religious, why do that?
Yeah, I know, right?
Sorry, but
Unless you're doing it in China or Japan, where
I've been a friend of his for years. I've done so much stuff for him, editing his celebrity interviews, like Dame Vera Lynn, and to a point where I was even asked by Dame Vera Lynn's daughter to get a hard copy of that picture that I morphed for them, and she had it on a mantelpiece. And now the daughter has that photo.
Richard
Now
has
I've
a
done.
daughter?
Sorry.
Richard's got a daughter?
No, Richard
I say?
did. And Richard did an interview with Dame Vera Lynn.
I thought he was gay.
He asked me to edit it for him, so I did, and I did a load of pictures and things to go with the interview and put it all together and did all that. Then I posted it on his Facebook page for him. But Dame Vera Lynn actually loved the interview and what I'd done that much that she asked me for a certain picture. And it was a picture of her meeting some of the troops in, I think it was in sort of Malaysia, sort of that area. And a picture of her meeting some of the troops during the Gulf War. And I morphed the two pictures together to show a now and then. And she loved it that much that she asked, her daughter phoned me and asked me for a hard copy, which I sent and put on their mantelpiece.
Oh,
And now, obviously, now Dame Vera's passed away, her daughter has now got that photo.
yeah.
So I felt that I didn't want nothing for it. I couldn't care less. I was quite happy to do it. And at the time, I was quite happy to do what I was doing for Richard. I didn't benefit from it. So it didn't bother me. I just enjoyed doing it. But when you agree to do something for someone and they then turn around to you and say, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that for you, and you don't see it, that makes you feel used.
Yeah.
So I sort of tended to sort of take a back step and to see, obviously, over the last couple of weeks, to see what he's been putting. That has been hurtful, very hurtful, because it's not only affecting me, it affects everybody that enjoys the paranormal.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether you're a paranormal investigator or just somebody that enjoys going out at night with a group, sitting in the dark and waiting to see if something happens. And we'll all admit, you can go to a location and a lot of the times nothing does happen. But it's the thrill and the excitement you get from the prospect of something happening. So whether you do get a full manifestation or an orb or a scraping sound or nothing, it's the anticipation that something could happen that gets that adrenaline going.
Yeah.
And the excitement's there. If you do get something, then brilliant. That's great because that's fulfilled what you want.
Yeah.
But if you don't get nothing, you don't walk away there going, oh, I'm going to demand my money back because nothing happened.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows that that's the case.
Do you know what annoys me, Wayne? I had studied for many, many years as a medium. I used to
I
serve.
studied as a large.
You don't lie, you're a small. Yes, no, I worked alongside the churches. I was part of a spiritualist movement, which over the years I did do a lot of work with them and I stepped away. I did counselling courses. I did a lot of research and it was never ending. I've got certificates and names after my name and all sorts of things, but you'll never see me put that on there because it's irrelevant what I have.
Yeah.
What I find most upsetting about what Richard has done today is the people that are in genuine need of help, that may have a true issue in their house. Some people don't have this true issue in the house. It's manifested by them, but they have the issue. They might be grieving. They might have just lost somebody really dear to them. They might be going through the grieving process that is so profound and so deep. Like that, and they need help. Or there is a genuine issue within the home. They've moved into a new home and things are happening. They could have been one lady, right? I won't mention any names, but one lady I was called to help witnessed a brutal murder of her stepfather stabbing her mother. It was something like 48 times or something. He stabbed her. And he did it with a 4-inch blade knife. But when they did the post-mortem and it all came out in court, the stabbing wounds were 6 inches deep. Yeah, it was a 4-inch blade. So you can...
Jesus. Yeah.
Right. So anyway, she walked into the tail end of it. He was standing over her with her knife, blood everywhere, looking at her saying, what did I do? What did I do? So I was called in then to help the poor girl that witnessed what had happened. Right. So long story short, it wasn't about a medium going in to give readings. It wasn't about me there to give her healing even. It was about me to sit and listen to get her to stop trying to commit suicide herself because she blamed herself for this, and get her into a courtroom to face him in court and give evidence, because the first trial was a hung jury, so she had to go back a second time, but this time they wanted her to get the psychiatric help.
Can I just stop there 1 second? If the jury if half the jury had big willies, would they be a well hung jury?
Yep.
Asking for a friend.
But what happened was the court in the second trial wanted her to see a court-appointed psychiatrist, and that comes with a stigma. Okay, not a counsellor, not a therapist, a proper psychiatrist, and she wouldn't go. So my job that was given to me was to get her to that first appointment with the psychiatrist by listening, asking her. She would ask a question and I would answer with a question for her to get her to answer her own question. It was quite clever how it was done. Anyway, from doing that and going there and just sitting there and listening, because any counsellor will just sit and listen. Just listen, let them get it off their chest. She went to see that court psychiatrist. It took her a few months, but she got to see him. She enjoyed going there and her sessions with the psychiatrist. She went to court. She wanted me to go to court with her for the, when the jury comes back and reads that she wanted me to go and sit in a public gallery, and I refused to go because it wasn't about me. It was about her and about her getting justice for herself and for what happened with her mum. And I said to her, do me a favour, when you come out of court, call me and let me know how it went. And it was the first time she broke down and cried. She said to me, I faced him in court. I looked at him straight in his face and he put his head down. He couldn't look at me. The first trial, she wouldn't look at him and she wouldn't even speak. So the second time, she'd built up enough strength to face him and look at him in his eye while she's talking about him. He put his head down. When the jury came back in and they read, what would you call it? Guilty or not guilty? The verdict. He got found guilty of murder because she was worried he was going to plead that he had psychiatric issues. It didn't go that way. He got found guilty of murder. And there and then, the judge in the court says, normally we come back for sentencing, but I've had enough. I've heard enough.
Yeah.
And he sentenced him to life imprisonment.
Good.
So he didn't get sent to a hospital like he thought he was going to.
Yeah.
He got life imprisonment. And she came out of that courtroom. She rang me immediately and burst into tears. And that was the first time I saw her crying. And she was crying. And I said, why are you crying? And she said, because I'm happy he got what he deserved.
Yep.
So, Richard Case, you want to talk about paranormal investigators and these people that are stupid and the mediums and this, that and the other. Think again, because you're doing more damage than harm. There are a lot of good mediums out there. I'm not saying I'm a good medium, but there are an awful lot of good mediums. There are an awful lot of bad mediums, but it's not down to you overseeing them one time to decide whether they're the real deal or not. Yeah. You don't know. You do not know.
That's what I mean about people. I'm not talking about everybody in the paranormal world, but the ones who've lost loved ones and do it because of that reason.
Yeah.
That's the worst bit. You don't do that. This shit that you're putting up on the walls, stop it. You're doing it for sensationalism and to get the interactions. Well, yeah, you got the interactions, buddy, and you've pissed everybody off. Just stop it. Get on the end.
He's also a lot of followers and friends because of it.
Yeah, I know. I've seen quite a few of the chats that are going on other people's things, and
I've had quite a few people message me and ask me what the hell is going on, and I've turned around to them and I've said it's happened in the past, but it hasn't been anywhere near as bad as this. This is a whole new level, and they've turned around and said, "Well, I've unfriended him because I don't want to get involved."
There's so many.
They were saying literally hour after hour there'd be a new post come up. And it would feature on their news feed, and she'd be going, for God's sake, not again. And at first, it was to hide they got the thing, do you want to see less of this person's posts? Yeah. But they were still coming through. So in the end, she went, you know what, onto the profile and unfriended him.
Yeah.
I wonder what his latest stuff is now, I'll tell you.
But
you know what, though, Wayne? You know, I had a thing recently where I had somebody that had my name in their mouth and was bad-mouthing me. A year after I did the last investigation with them. Yeah. And yes, I had a spat on Facebook. I didn't name them. It was enough for them to have their warning. Get my name out of your mouth or you will be receiving a solicitor's letter. Still continue after that. You will get a court injunction. Break that court injunction. You're going to prison, love. And that's it. End of. It doesn't need to carry on. It doesn't need to go any further than that. I don't need to spell out who it was, what they've done, how they've done it, and who they've done it to. It doesn't matter because it's private between me and them. And the only way that I could get that message was by putting it out publicly. It's done. It's dusted. Okay. So there are ways and means of getting your point of view out and leaving it there. Richard Case, I think you have issues and you need to go and speak to somebody. Seriously.
I think he also doesn't seem to understand what me and Mark are about regards to this.
Yeah.
I know he knows me because of Truth Beyond Paranormal and what I did with Most Haunted and so on. But he obviously hasn't grasped the fact that me and Mark don't talk about ghosts.
No.
That's a completely different section of the paranormal altogether. We might every once in a while slip into talking about something that has happened recently, but in general we don't talk about ghosts. But also at the same time we don't talk about folklore because we're more aliens, UFOs, and sometimes cryptozoology
and lots of weirdness.
Yeah. So and then yes, we do go off astray a bit, but I have noticed it that when we've had a show that has gelled well, and everybody's all laughing and joking and not knitting jumpers like we're being accused of doing. Smoking.
Eric's knitting jumpers. I'm smoking.
You know, yeah, but you're vaping. That's not smoking.
Oh, I'm smoking.
And I don't smoke on screen. I'll have a cigarette by the side of me, but I'll do that and I'll smoke my cigarette and then come back on screen. Yeah. I do that for a reason, and that's because that's me. But when you actually go on to stand there and say he messages Mark and says, "Oh, can I come on your show?" No, because we're out of your league. And it's not we're out of your league because we're better than you are. It's because we don't talk about your subject. His chosen subject is folklore and superstitions. We don't talk about them.
The only time we talk about that is when it's when it's the myths and the legends that are behind that, and then that comes under cryptozoology, and then we'll talk about that.
Yeah, but in general, a lot of folklore we don't discuss. So why would we have somebody on as a guest who supposedly specialises in folklore? Well, I'm sorry. Does that? I think what I may do then is I might go down to the library and I'll pick up some books on folklore, and I will become a self-proclaimed folklorist, just like he is, because that's all he's done. He's self-proclaimed.
He's slating mediums. Somebody's just sent me a screenshot. He's slating mediums.
He will do.
He will do.
He'll slate anything. He's going off on one, and he doesn't realise who he's upsetting. I haven't even opened the message he sent me.
Me on the James Whale show and let me
no.
him.
Get all of us on the James Whale show, because I think he'd love to have me and Wayne and you on there.
Let's do it. Us four.
I think the last message he sent you, Wayne, was I need to take a chill pill, wasn't it?
Yes. Dickhead. Only I didn't open it, so he didn't know I'd seen it, but it came up on my screen and I saw it because it was only one sentence long. But the problem is,
what did I miss?
Normally when he does things like this, it gets to a crescendo, and then he phones me.
Shall I send him a link now?
Or he phones other people, and it'll be at stupid o'clock in the morning, and he'll go, "Why has everybody gone against me?" And I'll be like, "Is it any surprise after what you've been posting?" And he went, "But it's not meant to be like that." And I went, "But that's not how you put it." I said, as a sort of outsider looking in at some of your comments and your posts, I said, they are quite damning in naming you as being quite nasty towards people with your comments. And he was like, "Oh, but I don't mean it like that." And I said, "Then don't write it in the first place. Don't get involved in arguments that you can't deal with, because then you end up phoning people at stupid o'clock in the morning."
Shall we do it? Shall we do it, Mark?
If you want.
I bet he won't. I bet he won't come on. Bet he won't come on.
But
hold on to your wigs, guys. I'm going to send him a link. Come on.
But again,
I would send him an invite to go on a show specifically about it.
The thing is, he was friends with Wayne and I. He's friends with Wayne, a lot more than he was with I. But I think even this has pissed you off, hasn't it, mate?
Yeah, it has. Simply because what he's done is it's having a dig at me as well. I mean, he just says that's his opinion, but it's not an opinion. He's point blank telling people to stop using. One of it was the cat balls. Yet he obviously forgets that cat balls come in all shapes and sizes. They're not necessarily all balls. And we've said you got the small rubber ones with the little spikes on. That's got nothing to do with motion or quite possibly rolling down a hill or anything, because they got spikes on them. So they don't physically move.
Oh my God! I've just seen the pop at us. Get me on your podcast and shows if you have the ball. I doubt you will, as most are boring and have everyone sitting having a cup of tea together. A good broadcaster takes on challenging subjects and challenging guests. Look at your listeners and numbers.
Yeah, but we don't care about the listeners and numbers.
It's about the show. It's about us being different from everything else.
Yep.
Yeah.
And talking about everything in the paranormal world and supernatural field.
So I've just sent a message. Richard, we are live at the moment and would love you to pop on to answer some questions for 5 minutes. And I have sent him the link and he has just seen it. So I know he's going to answer any moment. Get your popcorn ready, guys.
Wait, I'll get my knitting ready. Hold on.
Get your knitting ready. I'll cuddle my Willie for company.
I'm waiting.
Oh, hang on. While I'm on screen, I better have a fag.
Yeah.
I better smoke.
I'm
At the end of
surprised,
the day,
you know, I'm surprised they still call it that there. We started calling it a long time ago that, like in about early 80s.
I mean, he's even said, leave this presenter alone.
He's answered.
No one knows
Vivian,
the full
I can't
facts.
come on now as I'm having an early night, but we'll come
whatever.
on.
He says, he even states the police have stated nothing criminal has occurred.
What, when? Where?
Well, he put a post 3 hours ago saying, leave this presenter alone now. No one knows the full facts. It's becoming a witch hunt. The police have stated nothing criminal has occurred.
Huh?
And I'm trying to figure out what on earth he thought was criminal in the first place.
Probably me turning around and saying I'll catch up with you at a paranormal convention. That is not me saying I'm going to kick the snot out of you or anything, because I haven't said that.
But I just don't understand why he has had to have a pop at people, not realising that he's actually having a pop at his friends as well, and good friends at that.
Yeah, well, he's lost me as a friend.
And I think that's what's more upsetting is the fact that I've been friends with him for years. I've done stuff for him. I've tried to help him out. I've helped him with his interviews and all of this lot and everything else. And I've been out investigating with him. So to turn around and say he doesn't do investigations is bullshit. And that's what's upsetting even more.
No,
I've said to him, the debate is about you, Richard, so we would love to hear your views. No need to put your camera on. He put excellent. I said, so will you come on? And he said, okay.
So
he has the link.
But like I was saying, a true friend is somebody that will, you can have your own opinions, but respect the other people's opinions too.
And that's what I originally tried to say to him. Yeah, everybody can have their own opinion, but you're upsetting other people. You need to stop, you know?
But the thing is, Richard
Richard
has, in the past, advocated that. And he has, in some of his posts, said that. Which is fair enough. But some of the comments and the posts that he's made, you know, stop using cat balls. You know, it's... Why can't they use cat balls? Why can't we use K2s? You know, you put on a comment about a post up about using K2s, telling us to stop using them because they're your iPhones in the next room. And I'm like, hang on a minute, my phone's either switched off or on flight mode.
You know, people that use that stuff, at least me and some other professional investigators, know that certain stuff sets these off. So we don't have them with us or we turn them off.
Yeah, or you put your phone on plane mode. Everybody puts their phone on plane mode or turns them off, don't they?
Hang on. I was told that I can't use my phone in paranormal investigations, okay? So with Paul Rook's help, we did a telephone call to the dead and we actually proved that our phones are useful in paranormal investigations. And so many people at that location tried to replicate what me and Paul did and couldn't get the same results.
And guess what, Viv? When I filmed for Truth Beyond Paranormal down at Misty Towers, we tried the same thing. Yeah. We had a mobile phone in the one tower. We then crossed the way. We rang that phone, we answered that phone, and then locked the door. Then we went back into the other tower and we tried talking through to that other phone to see if we got anything back, which is the idea of the experiment.
Okay, look, I just want to bring Richard in. Richard is in the waiting room waiting to come on.
Oh.
So, Wayne,
Yeah.
I'd like you to put your points and your questions across to Richard.
Yeah, because I've never known him. So,
hi, Richard. Can you hear us?
Yeah, hi guys. How are you doing?
Thank you for coming on. I do appreciate it.
My pleasure.
There are some people here that have some questions for you.
Yeah, that's okay.
I have some questions too.
Absolutely.
I'm going to let Wayne talk to you first.
Sure.
Wayne, the floor is yours.
It's not so much a question. It's more. Well, I suppose it is. It's the fact that I don't understand why the comments or the posts that you put up aren't supposed to be taken seriously, but so many people are taking it seriously, and they're being hurt and upset by it, including myself.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't see how jokes and humour and things like that can be. So who's that? Who said that then?
Me.
Yeah, I thought you'd say that, Mark. It's about the level of your way of.
Yeah, that's right. You carry on, pal.
Okay. I mean, what I will say, Vivian, if someone's going to swear at me and get aggressive, I will come off, because there's no need for kind of attitude and way of communication. We're all adults, and we can communicate in an adult way, can't we?
Let Wayne say what he wants to say. Let Richard talk.
Well, we're waiting for the answer, really. You know.
Yeah, my answer is quite simple. It's what we call humour. Okay, I'm joking about what people wear. In fact, I'm going out on an event this Friday with a lady who's got a Ghost Hunter t-shirt on, and I'm going to put a video up or poster up saying, look, I'm with my best friend who's wearing a laughable shirt. Have a laugh about it. Not really taking it seriously. I used to wear one myself once. I thought I was stupid when I used to wear it.
Yeah, but the only problem is people don't see it that way. When you put it on a general post and everybody that follows you sees it, they're not seeing it the same way. Yeah,
but that was the whole point of me doing it, because what I'm trying to get over to people is, if you, for example, let's put it another way. If you had, say, Richard Dawkins or a scientist who wore a funny outfit and like this, and you all, and a lot of people that are believers turn around and said, look at him with his silly mad scientist outfit, blah, 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 and the way he does this and the way he does that. He probably wouldn't react the way some of you guys have reacted. He would probably just laugh it off and think, well, okay, fair game. I'm up for it.
But the problem is, we've had people that actually go out on investigations as a member of the public, that go there with they pay to go to these locations with teams, that are even getting upset by what you've posted.
Well, that's their problem, not mine.
Yes, but the problem is the problem there is they're not seeing it as humour.
Well, that's their problem.
When you put a post about stop using K2 meters or stop using cat balls, they're getting quite incensed by it because you've told them to stop using them.
Stop is a word. You know, it's a little bit, actually, I shouldn't have taken offence when Mark swore at me, because it's a word.
Yeah, but the problem is the word
stop
is a command.
Stop is a word, okay? I deliberately command. Yeah, but I can't command people not to do this, not to do that.
No, anyone
anyone with half an intelligence would know that I can't do that. So they, but you know.
But the thing is, on that side of it, Richard, you used to advocate those sort of things. When people used to post stuff on there saying, don't do this or stop doing that, you used to stand up for the people that were getting incensed by it all.
Well, give me an example.
You've gone the other side.
Give me an example.
I could go back quite a number of years where you used to say about certain people were saying you've got to stop doing this and stop doing that. You were quite an advocate for people to do their own thing.
When you
now
say,
all of a sudden you've gone the other way.
It depends when you say stop. I mean, if you've got an organisation like many of these organisations that have come out and they're saying we're going to actually make sure ghost hunters are banned from this, banned from that. No, I wouldn't agree with that. But when I'm saying stop, it's just a bit of humour. I'm saying stop with the kitten balls, stop with the nonsense. It's a headline. It's a bit of fun. I don't want people to genuinely stop using kitten balls or whatever they believe in. I personally think it's a load of rubbish and a load of hocus pocus, as my team know I do. But at the end of the day, my team will be using kitten balls this Friday, and I will be there observing and watching, and then they will ask my critical response at the end of it.
Me and you, Richard, we've gone back quite a way, haven't we?
We do.
And obviously we've been out investigating, we've worked together, and I've done various bits and bobs for you as well. And over the years, until recently, you've been that one track and that's it. And now all of a sudden you seem to have come off that track and you've gone in a completely different direction.
Yes.
It's the problem there is the problem there is that you've gone from one side and now straight away you've from what your posts have been about, you've flipped over the other way.
I've always been
the complete opposite direction, and it's upsetting people.
I've always been very quiet. I've always never ever challenged as I should. The name the Ghost Challenger is somebody that challenges, and I kick myself that I wasn't more forward and more to the point in the past, and I confess I wasn't. But now is the time that I'm living up to what I do, and that's challenge ridiculous, crazy, silly beliefs. But at the same time, I respect people's right to believe and to behave in a silly way. I just come over in a strong, challenging way. And what I'm finding is a lot of people are getting the right idea and they're challenging me and they're challenging my point of view. And I'm loving it.
Can I just come in here? Can I ask?
Yeah, of course you can. Of course you can.
On that point you've just mentioned about challenging with certain points and issues.
Yeah.
This is my own view. I think you have to be very, very careful because there's a very fine line between challenging and bullying. And people might read, they might just see black or white. They might not see the shades of grey, Richard, which is...
Vivian, bullying is when I turn around and say to people, X, Y, and Z are illiterate, X, Y, and Z are mental. Yeah. That's when I'm bullying. That's when I've been direct. When I'm turning around and saying ghost hunters, stop with your silly kitten balls, that's a generalization. That's not bullying. That's saying generally. But I do get where you're coming from.
But what I'm saying is that the people reading that might not be able to differentiate that.
Yeah, but that's
as read.
Unfortunately, that's their problem, not mine. They need to read. The problem with Facebook is they're not reading all of the posts and not all of the comments. And if they do read it, they will probably get the gist of what's happening. And what I'm now having is people are challenging me to come on podcasts to get this out, and that's great, because that's what we all want to do, I mean, Wayne is right. I mean, I do challenge an individual and certain people in the field that have used unethical ways of investigating. We only got to go back to Moore's murderers, all those kind of things. Yeah, I totally think that I totally condemn. And when they've actually named and physically or personally attacked, then I'm against that. I mean, Mark, I can understand where he's coming from, and the whole point.
I'm going to let Mark talk to you in a minute.
Yeah.
Problem is though, is I understand this, and as you know, Richard, I'm an author.
Sure.
My English is pretty good, but even I read the comments and I was upset by them.
Sure, and that is great, because that is what the aim of when I say the aim, it's not the aim to upset, but it was the aim to cause some kind of reaction so that you would end up talking about this and coming out with, what a hard skeptic would come out with. It's like, I mean, I've been on with as you know, James Whale and people like that. And I've had the same kind of treatment, and I've realised actually it's not a bad thing when you're actually challenging someone. I mean, I know Mark has his feelings about certain presenter, and I'm not saying I advocate all of what that presenter does and how he does things. Sometimes I think, you know, he doesn't always listen, and he does cut people off without listening. So so don't for 1 minute think that I'm taking over a role of somebody that's on television.
Mark, do you want to say something at this point? Do you want to talk to Richard? And
yeah, I started off originally just asking you to calm it down a bit because you're upsetting a lot of people, and you knew you were, and you've said yourself the whole reason you did this is to get people involved and blah blah blah. Which it's fine, I get that. It's your Facebook, do what you want. But when people are starting to get, and I've done it with mine, but when people start getting upset and stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, right, that's enough. I've upset the wrong people. And the thing I was trying to say to you is you've got people who, yeah, there's a lot of us do paranormal because we like it. I'm meh about ghosts and stuff. I'm UFOs and cryptozoology and
sure.
But when you get people that do it, like myself, I lost my son the week before his 15th birthday, took his own life. And there's a lot of people who do it purely to try and speak to the people. And it doesn't come across on messages. When you're actually talking, you can get the empathy and everything across. That's what I was trying to say to you. You were upset. Those people.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Mark, and obviously my condolences for that. And also, I myself have lost people quite recently, and been going through a lot of those kind of things myself. And of course, I understand that this is a very emotive subject. And if somebody reads one of my posts, it will say that I'm not talking about grief. And I understand when people are going through grief, it's a difficult time. But when I'm saying about kitten balls and ghost shirts and things like that, that's not aiming at people that are grieving. You know, I mean, if they're doing it,
they're all under the same umbrella.
Well, you know, if they're going there because they're grieving for one thing, that's fair enough. They're going there. But if I'm joking about the spirit box and that's part and parcel of what happens with the field, and they've got to have the backbone to accept that.
There's having the backbone, and then as a lot of people, and read the comments, look at other people's stuff. Look, you know, people have left, and they've said, "You've gone from being we used to talk to you were a nice guy, and then you've gone to doing this." And when people are going, "Oh, hang on, mate, you know, you've got your beliefs, they've got their beliefs. No one's having to go at you about your beliefs. Stop." And then you're going, "Yeah, but I'm doing it because I'm joking." And then you're saying, "Oh, but I'm doing it because I'm challenging." And it's like, it's not challenging if it's offending. So if it's offending, why are you not winding it in a bit? Because me personally, like you've said, I've not got the balls to interview or anything. We wouldn't have you on the show because we don't talk about your stuff. Your stuff is myths and legends, and that comes under cryptozoology. And we do talk about cryptozoology, nothing else.
Sure.
The only reason. It's nothing to do with balls. We certainly don't sit around in a circle smoking, and we don't have a knitting circle club either.
Erik does.
Erik does. Erik does. He's got knitting.
That was meant as light as it should have been. But what I will say, when you say about people, you know, getting hurt and taking offence, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we live in a society today where we all take offence at the slightest thing. And Ricky Gervais is a prime example of a show that he did, I think, about the paranormal and about the jokes he made. And of course, he went full tilt in there. But the last thing Ricky Gervais, as a personally thinks is, I don't care about people and grief, the same as me, you know? Things that are delicate and touchy can be joked about, can be ridiculed. But, you know, if for example, if I was saying, "Oh, Mrs. Jones was talking to her son the other day on a thing, and she thought it was a dear son that passed." Yeah, draw the line. That's where I'm going too far. But when I'm doing it generally and saying, you know, T-shirts and kitten balls and things like that, nah, I think that's all fair play.
Kitten balls and stuff, I personally don't give monkeys about, because I'm very skeptical about paranormal investigations. I've only been on a few where stuff's actually happened. And a lot of stuff I can explain away, and I always try and investigate to explain it away. But You know, when you're saying things like, "I'll put a sheet on my eyes with just to make up the paranormal, just to make these paranormal investigators, or that which science can't explain by science investigators, have some purpose on their fruitless pursuits," dude, you know yourself that is coming across as rude. You said stuff about
that's not rude.
Clairvoyant, clairsentient, and mediums. People are taking offence to it.
Why is that rude? That's a joke. You know, if you turn around about,
you know, it doesn't come across as a joke. That's what we're all saying to you.
But that's their problem, not mine. You know, it's like the local vicar. You know, in a frock. If I joke about that, I was in the Salvation Army. We used to have little S's on our tunics, and we were called the Sally Ann, and I joked about that. You know, it's a joke, and if people take offence, that's their personal problem. You know, they need to realize it's a generalization, it's not personal. I mean, the things I've had sent to me in messages, not saying from anyone on this show, but have been quite personal. You know, people have been saying things like, you know, you sure you're not having another mental health issue? You know, I mean, that's when it gets too personal. You know, at the end of the day, my health is perfectly fine. I'm just doing what I should have done a long time ago and actually been the ghost challenger. And somebody actually said to me, that's said,
not the ghost challenger.
Well, it is, because ghost challenger, I'm challenging ghost belief, and that's where people are misinterpreting the phrase ghost challenger. And another way they misinterpret it is I go on telly and somebody says, I don't want to interview you because you've got the word ghost in your name. So therefore you believe in it. And that's where they get that wrong. So that happens to non-believers as it does to believers. But people say to me, the ghost challenger, how can you call yourself the ghost challenger?
You can't challenge a ghost.
I mean, no, you can. You challenge it. I never called it the ghost belief challenger. I called it the ghost challenger just purely because that's the name that stuck with me, and the fact that people would put me in a haunted building, leave me on my own, and see if I got scared or friend. I mean, once I believed in all this kind of things. Yes, like I believed in religion, like I believed in the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus and all the other things. Any children listening, of course, they're all real.
I mean, the thing is as a general thing, I've just had a look back, and there is a difference in the posts you've put between humour and being light-hearted, where yesterday you put stop in lowercase letters, ghost hunting now, let's all go to the theme park, far more thrilling, have a fantastic evening. That is light-hearted humour. That I found funny. Okay.
Okay.
But then you went on to 10 hours ago, stop in capital letters, using K2 meters. They flash at the most simplest of things, and some are faulty. It's not the late ancestor communicating, it's your iPhone that's nearby. That, to me, isn't funny, because I use K2 meters and I use other EMF meters as well. I don't have my phone switched on, and I tell everybody to stay at least 8 feet away from the K2 meter so that it doesn't activate it by accident.
Yeah, so, but the reason, Wayne, you're not finding that funny is because it's something you do, and you find that that's a personal attack on you, but it's not. It's a generalization.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, in general, if you look at the two posts, one is funny. I can see the humour in that, but I don't see the humour in the other one because you've used a command word.
No, I actually find the other one. I've actually found the other one quite funny as well.
Yeah, but I don't, because a lot of people.
I'm a funny, but everybody else is going.
I'm a serious paranormal investigator. I don't do it for the fun.
But
I'm a serious one. And
but again,
whatever equipment I use is obviously my personal choice. But when you say it's not your late ancestor communicating, it's your iPhone that's nearby. That is more, that sentence itself is more hurtful because I don't use my mobile phone. My phone is always way away from
why is that hurtful?
Well, simply because you're telling us to stop using K2 meters because it's not a spirit, it's not the energy building up in the area.
Yeah,
it's
but why?
My phone.
So that's hurtful because of that.
Yeah, it is.
Well, why is it hurtful? I don't get I don't understand.
Can I explain? I get what Wayne is saying about that being hurtful. There are people out there in the paranormal community, let's call it, that are just starting out on their journey. I call them the youngsters that are our paranormal investigators of tomorrow.
Yeah.
They can't afford all this equipment, big flashy, lighty, jumpy, whatever, tri-field meter, whatever.
They don't need them. They don't need them. They don't need any
what
of
I'm
that.
saying, what I'm saying is they can't afford it. So they want to start off with a K2 meter. If that's what they want to do, that's all they can afford.
Well,
and that's what they want to start with. That's the beginning of their journey.
Well, what I'll say there, Vivian, is they don't even need that. All they need.
Yeah, but it's got to be their journey. How do we?
Well, okay, it's their journey, but you said that they can't afford it. I mean,
but what I'm saying is
they just have a notepad and just sit in a room.
Yeah, but it's got to be their own personal journey to progression to get to the point where they know that that's rubbish. They know that this doesn't work. They know that it's their progression. And some people might have read what you've put and thought, well, why is he attacking me like that? Well, I can't afford this. I can't afford it. That's why I've got my £1 cat ball. That's why I've got my
exactly.
And
that's why I answered the people who do have the cat balls, and that's why people that I go out with have cat balls because they can't afford all those flashy expensive gadgets, and I let them have the cat balls, and but I still joke about it. I still have fun about it, And
we all have fun about the cat balls because obviously that's not what they're designed for. But when you're out paranormal investigating, you use anything that goes. And I said it, I think it might have been yesterday, how the fact is remaining now that a lot of groups now are tending to go towards technology rather than going with more traditional methods like flour and marbles, a paper and a coin, or paper and a cross and draw around it, and things like that. Basic trigger objects that don't cost anything or cost minimal. And so, we even joke about it ourselves. But it's how it's worded when it's written down on the screen, whether it's on the screen or on a piece of paper. It's how it's worded that the reader sees it and how it's interpreted by that person.
No, you don't pussyfoot around or write things for people that are oversensitive or what I would call probably the new version of I forget this phrase now, snowflakes. You don't have when you word something, you don't write. I mean, a good writer as well as you are, you don't write because you're worried about the readers and think, oh, I better not say this or I better not say that. No, you damn well write. You leave your blood on the page, and you do it. And you take the flack which I'm taking, and I'm taking it. With backbone and accepting it and with all good humor. Yeah. And, you also kind of, you don't censor yourself. Don't ever censor yourself. If you've got to say something, I mean, obviously, if you're going to say so-and-so is a something or so-and-so, that's different. That's a personal attack, that's where it gets silly.
But Richard, I'm going to bring talk radio into this now, okay? So just to make my point, talk radio is owned by News UK, as you know.
Oh yeah.
I used to work for them, and I can tell you they own newspapers and other radio stations and other media outlets.
Exactly.
And they are paying the Beckhams £3,000 a month because they were taken to court because they had printed something in a newspaper that turned out wasn't true. They were taken to court and fined.
Sure.
They were fined quite heavily because the reporter was incensed and wrote something about them. It was taken the wrong way. It wasn't true. It was all proved in court, and now they're paying a price for it. You're in the public eye. And you're having your opinion, which you're entitled to, but it's just the way it's worded. Maybe putting something like personal statement or my, this is my opinion. Yeah. Just putting something at the top, just so people get it.
I'm in the public eye, but also I'm not stupid. I also know media law, and I know what I can and can't say. Yeah. And at the moment, I know 100% I'm not saying anything liable, which I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Which I would never do.
Yeah.
Ironically, the people that have been coming on to me and getting quite defensive have said things that, you know, are quite liable if I wanted to pursue it, but that's another matter.
But what I'm saying is
not
it
about
would stop everything. It would just like, this is my opinion, this is my joke, or something at the top or the bottom, or something
that would
clear
stop
it up.
all this nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about whether you've put something libel. It's how you word something and how the person that reads it sees it.
Yeah.
If I was to write a factual book, I would have to do my research and write fact. And I would find myself in court if I based something on fact and it was false.
Yeah, yeah.
And what the point is that when you put something on Facebook, and we've all done it, we'll openly admit we've all done it, we have written something on Facebook that's been taken the wrong way, and people have reacted to it, but they've not reacted to it in a positive way.
But that's
they've
their
reacted
problem,
to it negatively.
And that's their problem, and I'll stand by that. You know, that's their problem. You know,
but you used to be an advocate of getting as many followers as possible, and now, unfortunately, because of the comments, you've lost quite a few because I've seen them go.
And good, you know, great. I mean, I'm glad they've gone. You know, I mean, those people I don't want. You know, at the end of the day, you know, it's not about getting followers that just like you. You know, you've got to get followers that actually take on board what you're saying and listen to you. It's more about respect as well, you know, in the sense, when I say the word respect, I mean, you know, respecting that I am going to be probably the pain in the ass. I respect, you know, they're going to believe fairies are at the bottom of the garden, you know.
I mean, obviously, we've seen the post saying that, you know, you have your beliefs, I have mine, and things like that. But that's where the problem lies, because of the comments or the posts that you've put after that, and it contradicts everything that you're putting now with what you put originally. Everybody does have their own beliefs, everybody does have their own methods of doing things, but when they see the posts that you've put after, whether you mean them as a joke or as humor or whether you're being serious, people will look at it and go, hang on a minute, what's going on? That doesn't make any sense. Why have you all of a sudden done a complete U-turn and started coming out with things like this? This isn't the Richard we know. And we've seen the comments that people have put.
As I said, the Richard that we know never really commented on issues like this and was very, very quiet. But the Richard that is coming out now is the challenger who is actually putting over these points of view. You know, they've been challenged by those points of view, and if they get upset, again, very sorry that they do, but that's their problem.
Is that why you've been caught saying snowflakes and stuff like that? And we all know where that's directed, but it's like all this stuff earlier. All I was trying to say to you was, wind it down a bit, because you are upsetting people, and you took that as, oh, I'm making jokes, and then you did you went, oh, your show's a boring knitting circle where everybody smokes, and
I don't think that's how the conversation quite went, but
I've got the screenshots of everything, so
I've got the screenshots as well, but I don't.
I have no doubt.
I don't do that, you know. I mean, at the end of the day, you know.
You didn't say that.
What do you mean I didn't say that?
If you just said you didn't say that.
No, I said that. Yeah, I said about
why. Because you could why.
Sorry.
Why did you say that?
Because I think you said something else, and I was just being humorous back.
No, it wasn't humorous. You know it wasn't humorous. So I'm asking you again, why did you say that? Wayne and I and Viv work hard on that show. So does Dan, so does Josh, and so do a lot of the other people. We do all our research and everything way beforehand. We're not hacks. We're not old. We're not new at this. We all know.
Read the conversations. Go. Let me see the conversations, because I'd have to look at them to actually to go through them to know why I said it and where it happened. How did it begin? It's on public view, so everyone can see it.
But it's like we were friends, and then all I tried to say to you was, you're upsetting people. Put something up there, wind it in a bit, whatever. Just say to people, it's my own personal view. And you didn't. You just made it worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, which you know, I will continue to do if I feel I've got a strong view on things.
But everybody has strong viewpoints and stuff. But we, like myself, I'm not going to go out of my way to deliberately piss off a whole group of people just because that's my point of view. And I want the chat and the chat. It's not challenging. It's rude, mate.
If people are pissed off, that's their problem, not mine.
Yeah, it is your problem because you started it. Just finish it.
But my aim is not to piss off. My aim is to speak the truth and have a bit of fun with it.
That's not speaking the truth and having a laugh.
But the problem is, he's saying about us just chatting and smoking and knitting. That was having a dig at me as well. Your own friend.
No, there are loads of podcasts where that happens. And I can
but we know
nobody smokes in ours.
We know
exactly.
Richard.
Nobody knits and nobody smokes. So therefore,
can I just say something here? Because one of our people in the chat has put up a comment, and this is Kelly Druce. I'm going to mention she's in Australia, Richard, and she's saying. And she said, when she says he, she refers to you, Richard. She says, all he needs to do is say, this is my personal thoughts. Really basic, I think.
That's what I said.
And then she says something about respect. Respect goes two ways. So respect to the people reading your posts and then respect given back to you. So it should go two ways at all times, regardless of whether...
And we used to respect you until...
No. You when you say your personal views, you don't have to. What's the word? Mollycoddle people. We're all adults, you know. I shouldn't have to say. My personal view is that t-shirts are ridiculous, and I'm just saying, let's stop this. That they're silly. The thing. It's a statement. It's a bit of fun. It's like a headline in a newspaper. It's like when we have a go at politicians. It's something to be taken with a pinch of salt and think, okay, that's what he views, that's what he thinks. Fair enough, okay. And then, put me on the show and say, well, why don't you believe in the paranormal? Let's get you out there. Let's get you on chuck you in a spooky location, the most creepiest location we can think of. I'm sure plenty of you have got them. Throw me in, lock me in, and have a bit of fun seeing if I poo my pants.
Well, in the same vein, you were saying that mediums are this, that, and the other as well. Would you like to explain to Viv, who is a medium, your comments and thoughts about that?
And what did I say about mediums?
If I can find it, I'll tell you. But Viv read it as well, and she was like, oh, that's interesting.
I said I don't believe mediums speak to the dead. I don't believe it, no. But I'm friends with mediums, and I respect that they believe they do, and I respect that they would probably, say that I'm wrong.
Okay, so I'm a medium that started off in the spiritualist churches. I'm a naturally gifted medium. This was not taught to me. I already had it from very small. And I will be honest with you, Richard, I'm 54 years old.
Sure.
And I have spent the last 40 years truly understanding, learning. And with that, wasn't just sitting in mediumship circles because I wanted to go out investigating.
Sure.
It was helping people, counselling, grief counselling, learning how to listen to people, getting them to talk, because a lot of it is not just... I came away from doing the spiritualist church side because there was need for me elsewhere, and it was helping people to get to court to see killers brought to justice.
That's great, yeah.
And
fantastic.
It was through counselling. And it was learning about the paranormal path, and what that is listening and feeling the building. Psychometry. When you're trying to investigate, you're called into a building, they're seeing a man walking through the hallway, but you go there is no energy or residue. This person is not coming to you to talk to you while he walks through the hallway. It's a residual haunting, and the building is playing this image back. How are you going to know that that's what's happening? By putting your hand on the fabric of the building and doing psychometry and reading the building, the energy that the building is emitting. And this man could even still be alive and living, I don't know, in the Outer Hebrides somewhere with a really happy life with his sheep. But he had a bad time in that house. Something really tragic happened. It blasted this into the fabric of the building. And it's not a ghost per se, it's just understanding all of that. This all comes from years and years of learning, understanding the human mind, being there for the living, not the dead. It's the living, and it's the living that I care about as a medium. A true medium cares about the living. The dead is always secondary.
And what we've just got from me doing all this, Vivian, is we've got you to give a prime example of what good work and what you do. Okay. Now, what I will say is, but because I don't believe that, because I don't at the moment believe that. Maybe let's say at the moment, okay, for example, it's then over to the other people to convince me maybe otherwise, or for me to find out, you know. But you know, when I said about mediums and not believing they're communicating with the dead, and no, I don't believe mediums, that is not me being offensive to mediums. I have people in my team. I have a lady that actually worked at a place called Gardner Askins, and she actually saw the ghost there. She worked there. She joined me from there because she likes what I do. And I said to her, I had a chat with her. I said, how are you finding what I'm doing? And she said, not a problem with it. That's you, Richard. That's how you are. We all know you like that, and we love you like that. We understand that you're not being nasty, and your intention's not nasty, you know. But you're just been, you know, a devil's advocate. You've just been frank. You've just been, you know,
I get that, and I can appreciate that. I really do appreciate it, because you do need somebody that works alongside you that can be the skeptic in the mix and push and ask questions. I do get that, and it works well on private cases where people really have issues, serious issues. You need somebody there that's able to do that.
Problem we have with skeptics is people don't always understand the term skeptic. They go to on an investigation. They say, I'm a skeptic. And then they say, hello, if you're here, spirit, not once, not twice. Straight away, I say, well, you're not like me, because you're now assuming that this is a spirit of someone dead, you know? So therefore, you're not like me that doesn't believe, you know? I don't go in there and say, you know, I mean, I have tried that. Yes, I have tried it. And I have said to the team, and it's in our terms and conditions, Richard will try and go along with what you do and try and have an open mind. And I have gone along with it and done it, like many other people, like I think Chris French and all the well-known people like that have done, you know, because that's what you do when you're out. I mean, when I'm at an event, I don't then turn around and say, oh, you're all cuckoo, you're all nuts. I don't say that, because then that would be going too far, you know.
Right. But in a sense though, that is what you're doing on Facebook. If you don't do it at events and tell everybody to their face they're cuckoo, you're doing it on Facebook technically.
But by what means? But how am I doing that?
Because you've just said yourself, you've openly admitted yourself that when you go out on an event, you don't turn around point blank and tell people that they're cuckoo. But you have put in your posts.
When I'm out on events, I do tell people I think the kitten balls are a load of balls, and I think this is a load of rubbish. Yeah, I do say that, and I do say I think those shirts look ridiculous. I do say that, and I do. That's what I'm doing on Facebook.
But if
I had my best dress on, and I was out with friends, and you know, I'd made a lot of effort to get ready to go out for an evening with my friends, and they turned around and said, you look ridiculous, I'd most probably punch one of them on the nose. I spent hours putting my makeup on, doing my hair, and putting my best dress on. It's the way it comes across. It's just, I think there's a better way of wording it, maybe.
If I saw a lady or a gentleman on Facebook and I said, you look ridiculous what you're wearing, then I would be crossing a line. But when I'm saying as a group, you know, I think these T-shirts look ridiculous, generalization, no.
Okay. No, I accept that. No, that's your opinion.
Team shirts and hoodies, at the end of the day, if the team wants to do that, that's entirely up to them. It's their choice.
Of course it is.
Yeah, I mean, I've always worn black anyway, or dark colours. So
sure.
It's neither here or there for me.
But do you not think that some of the things you've said, I understand why you're saying, I get your point.
Yeah,
but
I get it.
You know it's coming across as aggressive and having a pop, and it looks just like that. And you know that it's being said to get this reaction. And the fact that you've upset Wayne, who's been a friend of yours for a long time, and myself, and several other people who are not hacks or new at this, we've done it for years, and we're well liked in the community. And anybody, not just you, because anybody comes out and says that, and then says crap about the show, of course, you know, everybody's going to be like, excuse me, what the hell? What do you think you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, of course, I'm sorry if you took it that way, but I would say I'm not sorry for what I said. No, because that is what I meant. And with the show, I mean, I kind of think I was challenging you after we had probably quite a bit of a, which is fine because we're both adults. We both kind of got into it, and I think I then said, well, have me on the show, and then you said, no, I won't have you on the show, and then maybe I kind of possibly drew the line on the sense that maybe I might have criticized the show, and the last and okay, for that I apologize. I don't want to criticize the show. I think what you do is good, and what you do, and I just think that it's probably going to do you better if you have more people like me on, and have more challenges, and more people that are watching this at the moment and probably commenting and probably baying for my blood.
Dude, we had a guy on there who worked for the NSA and was talking to us all about the conspiracy theories and a lot more.
Sure, and that's good. That's good.
We regularly have people like that on there. If you look, when we do have guests on there, it's not hacks. It's people who know their shit. We don't, because come on, it's me. I'm not going to have somebody on there who's a hack, because I'll tell you the bits.
Sure.
And we went viral on YouTube as well. We've got on one show there was over 11, nearly 12,000 viewers on one show.
Excellent.
It has gone mad, but then you wouldn't necessarily, or other people wouldn't necessarily know it, because we're not singing it from the rooftops. We just get on with what we do.
We don't do it for money or fame. Wayne and I do it. Well, I originally started this because it was closed down by the other people who did it, and I said, right, can I have the show then? And I'll do it my way. And they were like, yeah, of course you can. Go on, it's your show now. So I own the show. I do it, and it's taken this long to get here, and it going through different people. And me and Wayne, we've been friends for years. He's my bestie, and it works well. We bounce off each other really well.
Yeah,
and I try and make him corpse in it. But when we have guests on, and we have people like Viv and Dan and everybody on like that, yeah, you've apologized. I get that. Thank you. I'm glad you have. But coming out with shit like that, it's going to offend everybody, and people are going to be like,
let's not go around in circles. But...
And I think also, but in essence, it's confused me quite a bit, because on the 25th of June, I think it was the 24th of June, myself and the Truth Beyond Paranormal team investigated at an old mill in Aylesbury.
Yeah.
We spent all night there. And Richard, you openly admitted, and you posted on there saying that we were genuine and that you jest often, but you like our attitude.
Yeah.
So when you post a comment like that, that was amazing.
Yeah, because all of you
what confused me was over the last 3 days, you've done a complete turnaround, because you pride yourself in being completely independent from the so-called paranormal world. Fair enough. I'm not a believer. Fair enough. I respect people's beliefs and challenge it. I attend events with teams, research group psychology at such events. I do talks on folklore, so on, which is fair enough. So from that point onwards, everything went bizarre.
No, because I still love all of the groups that go out. I still love what they do. I just, say for a joke, get rid of those shirts and get rid of those damn kitten balls. I'll say that, but it doesn't mean I'm going to physically stop them, or I'm not physically going to attend when people have their kitten balls flashing away, or even have their shirts. I'll probably use one as a tea towel, But yeah, I mean, it's reading, and I just cannot help if people take offence to that, and that's the way.
I have taken offence to that. I was trying to get you to tone it down, because other people were getting incensed over it.
Yeah, but I refuse to, frankly, to tone anything down, because people take offence to something I feel is, to me, not offensive.
Okay, right. Listen, guys, I want to personally thank Richard for coming on and talking to us all. I really, really appreciate that,
Thank
because I know
you.
you wanted an early night.
Thank you.
But it was just nice to get your point across.
It was great to come on, and I thoroughly enjoy coming on the show, so no problems. That's
we will get you on again. We will get you on again. So
lovely.
But no, thank you for doing that, and I appreciate that you wanted an early night and we've interrupted that. So just apologies to Sarah. Just tell her, I'm really sorry, Sarah.
I will do that. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
Anyway, take
care.
Speak
to you later, Richard.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. And that was Richard. So I don't know what else to say, guys.
Your books were good earlier.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Right, so I think we're going to end the show here. No doubt there will be more debates, more questions, more chats, more of everything, basically. I want to say a very, very big thank you to Mark. Thank you for reading my story and putting in your embellishments. They were very, very funny.
Anytime.
And I want to thank Erik. Sorry, Rita.
I said you guys did a great job.
I want to thank Erik, and I'm sorry that you had to listen to all of that, but
no, it's fine.
But thank you to Erik for being there as usual, my right-hand man alongside Dan, and Wayne, Mr. Spookanori himself. Thank you for coming on. I know you wasn't expecting to, but
no, my early night went out the window as well.
And everybody in the chat, thank you as well for your comments and your views and supporting us. And we can't do this without you. And so we appreciate each and every one of you as well. We will be back next. Well, the Dark Mirror Boys are back next Monday at 9:00 on the Simply Speaker channel. I think the Mad Ginger one is on tomorrow night at 8:00 with Frighteners, with the boys from the basement. That's Bry, Security Bry, Nick of the Corn, and Mr. English. So she'll be back on Friday night with that. And I'm not sure about William Becker. I think it's next week he might have a show, but check out the page and everything will be on there for you. You'll be able to catch us. If not, watch us on Catch Up. You can catch us on Facebook and on YouTube and on the Dark Mirror page on Facebook. So
my hiding behind my name badge.
Chad. So with that all being said, I'm going to let you guys say goodnight. I'm going to say goodnight now to everyone, and thank you for supporting us once again.
Good night.
Great controversy. Mr. Erik and his farting earlier, brilliant. And Mr. Wayne down there, thank you. Down there.
Oh, there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you, guys. And yeah, anytime, no problem. I don't mind helping. You know.
If I start doing weird stuff, it's because my.
Okay. So I've only just realised that I'm partly hidden by my name tag.
Most of the time, mate.
Do you remember the old graffiti? Gilroy was here.
That's right, yeah.
I feel like that, and I've been like that most of the show.
Yeah.
You need a high chair.
And remember, ladies and gentlemen, before we go, kitten balls, they're for cats.
Take care, everyone.